but the other heavy metals in the water still remain the same. Now, these produce and things that I said will come to Accra, will go to any other place. And if we don't take care, we will be sitting here eating, but some of the items will be bioaccumulated with a lot of heavy metals. And if we do not take care, it's going to be very disastrous for us. And I think that is why we need as a people to ensure that all that we got to do, we need to do. We look at the health implication, which is just so serious. I mean, you have various premature children, and especially where they use the gold. Sometimes they say that because the gold actually, sometimes you check the water body and you can't find them. You find them down within the river. In fact, CSR Water Research, where I'm the director, we've been doing a lot of research in all the river bodies. As I'm talking about, some of the people who are in the field collecting water sample to let us see the urgency and how difficult the situation is. And in fact, including mercury that you find in the water, lead and other stuffs like that are found. And these affect our children. In fact, our mothers, the pregnant women, when they take this in, because don't mercury and other, especially mercury, it just evaporates. So when the people are dealing with the gold, it just go into, they inhale it. And I must say that to some extent, maybe we have an idea, but we do not have much idea of what we are going to face in the near future regarding this galamsey. In fact, I must say that some of them we think because we are in Accra. In fact, you have roughly about 5 river systems in this country, and all the river systems are almost gone. One of the biggest we have that seem untouched is the Volta Basin. And even in the Volta Basin, they've started mining in the black water and in the white water. And if you don't take care and protect what we have, we will be in a very serious problem.
That is the Acting Director General of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR. And the existential threats that we're faced with couldn't have been put any better than he just did. That we have 5 river systems in this country, and almost all these river systems are gone as a result of illegal mining. So if you are in any part of the country watching us right now and thinking that galamsey, or as someone put it, illegal mining is happening in Ashanti region, it's not happening in Greater Accra region, then you might be just living in a fool's paradise. The reality we are faced with goes beyond the politicking that we're trying to do with this rather serious situation and this crisis that we're faced with of illegal mining. Well, good morning, welcome. This is Key Point here on TV3. We're live on 3FM 92.7 on a number of radio stations across the country. My name is Alfred Okanse. This morning, a number of issues on the menu. It's a wet morning in most parts of the capital and some parts of the country as well. But rain or shine, we have a duty to bring you the key issues that are of concern to you, the Ghanaian people, the key moments, and we go straight to the point in the interest and development of this country. Together with my guests, we'll do this for the next 4 hours, and with you as well. The National Cathedral Secretariat has released an audit justifying the reason why this particular project must continue. But there are questions already about what this audit is about and whether it is enough justification for this rather controversial project to proceed. Well, the audit, according to the National Cathedral Secretariat Board Chair, gives this project a clean bill of health to continue. Well, we have a conversation on this matter this morning here on Key Point, and especially taking into consideration the recent revelation at that site of what is happening and the current state of affairs at that National Cathedral site. Stay with us. We will sink our teeth into this matter. Illegal mining continues to be big on our agenda because it is and remains an existential threat that we're faced with as a country. Organized labor has given a clear indication of what it intends to do going forward. The president, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, met organized labor asking for more time. Those who have indicated that if organized labor listens and heeds to that call by the president, then they have failed the people. Others think otherwise. What should be the avenue to send a clear message to government on this matter of illegal mining, the urgency that is needed to address this matter so it does not become a period of no action talk only about this galamsey issue that we have seen over the period. The NDC this week, together with other political parties, met the Electoral Commission at the live broadcast of that Interparty Advisory Committee meeting earlier in the week. After that meeting, the NDC issued a statement agreeing to go with the Electoral Commission on a number of issues and also asking for other things. Have they abandoned the push for a forensic audit, or it is a compromise in the interest of democracy? They would be here to answer these questions for themselves, really. But what is the way forward? We have a conversation this morning as we ask. The Democracy Hub demonstrators are still testing the law to have their freedom. We're getting to that this morning with the latest. About 32 out of the 53 who are in either police or prison custody as we speak, dragging the Attorney General and the IGP to the Human Rights Court. We'll tell you about the latest development on that particular issue. But as always, you are an integral part of the conversation, and there are very many ways you can join us on Facebook, on X, as well as on Instagram. But I want to thank you so much for joining us here on KeyPoint. The conversation continues right after this quick break. My guests will join me. They are committed to the development of this country. The rains could not stop them. They're here with us. We'll have a conversation. I am Alfred Okonse. Welcome to KeyPoint. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly.
We all have that one friend, always by your side for the big moments and ready to assist. He's always got his eyes on the prize and his heart in the right place. Where would we be without our BFFs? This season, enjoy all 380 Premier League games with your BFF GoTV. Upgrade or reconnect to GoTV Super Plus for the discounted price of just 265 cedis today. GoTV, love it.
I see, Monsieur Namid 200 Ghana Koja, sister. Buy you 5 cedis. And then 40 Ghana. Hey, you can contain 40 to 50 pesos and not 20 Ghana. And then at dancing, or long can do 30 Ghana. Adai, on my bay money away.
Oh, so Casa, Michel Dean. Sha, Docura me 20 Ghana. Ah, me pay Cramini 15 Ghana cedi a day. On my benny a woman, ya call ya Nazi a sabai.
Share and yet Diane Bonkuan and Kosuru. John Dramani Mahama time. Submit 1 bag. Near 24 Ghana cedis. Min Konto submit 1 bagger. Yes, say a 108 cedis. I don't Ross a beton saying. It is the say, who see Diane. Say, and I'll be say. John Dramani Mahama Mama Gia. Yabewo,
Yana Bibia from Wakombe Queen.
Or come the end queen. A fire 100 pa. No people are buying. What dear more Ancassa.
Media minimum how. No media. Measure my system, number 12.
And a sanity, dear. A year Kufu had any bow mea. Yamia don't say December 7. True. You be true, Master said you too bad.
She was sitting to a papa. A disacraya papa beba wa brabum. To Obama John Mahamani NDC.
The luckiest.
*712#.
Luck is everywhere. 8K. Hey, you can get 8K. Get that packing so you have to come out. Wallah. Hey, wait.
You can put it on his tab. This is my man. Good luck.
Hey, go bill radio. We have star 712. It's much more phone. I'm on dialing the magic numbers. Star 712. Now welcome to the luckiest. And now with me at home ticket. You can buy for yourself or your loved one.
Mommy, tell mommy who's here.
You're buying for me, right?
Or who else? Let me choose buy tickets for others.
Love you, boo boo.
Maybe straight to option 4. Now we try you need to buy tickets worth 50 Ghana to qualify. Yes, you can buy random or preferred tickets. I'm choosing random tickets. Listen, if you buy the random ticket, the system chooses a random number for you. But if you buy the preferred, you get to input your own preferred 5 digits. 5.
Baby, give me your 5 numbers.
And how much are we buying?
Babe, look at the body and buy you.
With your body,
Hey,
there, tread cautiously. Now follow the prompts and confirm. Now the luckiest.
The luckiest is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform, not for persons below 18 years. T&Cs apply.
This Sunday on Hot Issues.
Why should the Ghanaian people choose you and the CPP?
We have wasted our lives by voting for these two parties.
Is there justification for an audit of the voter register?
To ask an external person at this critical moment and this time to come and audit, I don't see the reason why. The moment I take the oath, there's a halt on any illegal mining.
Do you think that Dr. Kwame Nkrumah will be happy with the CPP of today?
I believe that Dr. Kwame Nkrumah will be very miserable with Ghana of today.
Hot Issues shows Sundays at 2 p.m. on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
A prestigious crown passed on for many beautiful women.
Through every challenge, I identified my strength. Who becomes the next Ghana's most beautiful?
Yes! Who was the crown? Na Mele, Efriye, Titiaka, Makafui, Ira, or Pepra. 6 beauty queens, 1 crown. Witness the moment of a lifetime, live at the National Theatre on 6th October at 8 p.m. and live on TV3. Performing live, Kiddy, Kamido, Enam. Grab a ticket at the premises of TV3 at Kanda for only 50 Ghana cedis. Ghana's most beautiful, Ghana's beauty, Africa's pride.
GMB is sponsored by Deluxe Acrylic Paint, Heaven Black Mosquito Spray and Coil, Enapa Foods, Nescafe Blood Tonic, Frutelli Calipo, Reflow Sanitary Pad, Vitamilk, Obuasi Bitters, Global Wings Travel and Tour,
Sankofa Natural Spices, MDS Lancet, Polytank.
Communication is not delivery of information. Communication is a process in which 2 people share information for mutual understanding. So people waste money on flyers, brochures, events, huge events, expensive. And when the people finish, you ask them, what was the message of the event? We don't remember. We don't remember. All we remember is the decor.
This week on Today's Woman, our guest is 360 communication strategist Esther Koba, CEO of Stratcom Africa. Make a date with us, with me.
Brought to you by Vlisco.
The rice.
More and more schools are gathering, especially towards the semi-finals of the 3rd season of Kitchen Wars.
It's something massive, extraordinary from us.
We are the Giants.
Okay.
The only school that have Giants.
So we are here to treat your taste buds with palatable treats.
Together with my colleagues, we are going to be the best on this season.
I want to understand something. Okay. Is this for punishment or is actually like...
Kitchen Wars is brought to you by Kivo Foods, Everpack, Mazim Foods, Miss Cookie Spices,
Chana Shito.
No, baby, I said I'm fine. There's no need for you to come over.
How far will men go just to impress a woman? There are no limits at all.
Hey, baby.
I go to work in the morning.
morning and work so hard. I come back home and my house is a mess.
Meet Leo, James, Ben, and Tim, 3 young men maneuvering the twists, turns, and challenges in their 20s.
You guys are 3. The third person is not at home. Am I lying? Am I lying? I said one also. And they also, whom I also help.
They are witty, smart, and sneaky.
How's my baby?
That one, lazy boy, he's still sleeping.
They are The Bachelors. The Bachelors, premiering on Tuesday, 8th October at 9 p.m. on TV3.
Hi, it's your favorite female DJ, Chichi DJ, and I'm your guest on the Day Show on Sunday.
This might be a controversial question, but do you have to be a bad girl to be a DJ?
Of course, you have to be fun.
This young man decided to include his family, his mother in particular, on TikTok, making a name for themselves.
It's almost banana. I'm sky and you weigh kewa.
Hey,
I'm modest.
Yay!
The Day Show, Sundays at 3 p.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by Cowbell Coffee.
On Bang Bang Bim Bim. Exactly.
Frida or Andam could learn a new hobby, what would it be? Swimming. Which people celebrate the Kundum Festival? Which people in Ghana celebrate the Asafotufia? Hey, it don't happen. Pam panam pam. It don't happen. Tum tum tum. Keep me burning, keep me burning.
Here to Win shows Sundays at 4 p.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by Kivo 4-in-1 Curry Mix, Kivo 100% natural hot pepper, Heaven Black mosquito spray and coil.
A prestigious crown passed on for many beautiful women.
Through every challenge, I identified my strength. Who becomes the next Ghana's most beautiful?
Yes! Who was the crown? Na Mele, Efriye, Titiaka, Makafui, Ira, or Pepra. 6 beauty queens, 1 crown. Witness the moment of your lifetime, live at the National Theatre on 6th October at 8 p.m. and live on TV3. Performing live, Kiddy, Kamido, Enam. Grab a ticket at the premises of TV3 at Kanda for only 50 Ghana cedis. Ghana's most beautiful, Ghana's beauty, Africa's pride.
GMB is sponsored by Gino Tomato Mix,
Techno Camon 30,
AT, Pepsodent Charcoal and Lemon Infused Formula and Pepsodent Natural Herbal Formula, Geisha Moringa and Geisha Black Soup, Key Soup, GTP, Kivo 4-in-1 Curry Mix, Kivo 100% natural hot pepper,
NLA Good Causes Foundation.
What do you say to Ghanaians who say, yeah, Tiabre?
We are saying resetting Ghana. Jobs, accountability, and prosperity.
What do you think is the best way Ghanaians can hold you accountable?
So we are saying we are giving a very minimal interest rate relative to 0. Ghanaians also have a say. They are the people the power belongs to.
Have you ever blamed the economy for your impulse buying?
I have to. You see, because if you don't buy it now, the price could triple.
A lot of scams were put out under a slogan that was packaged to us as a policy.
The Ladies Circle shows this Saturday at 6 p.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by Yaz Sanitary Pad, MTN,
Yaz Toothpaste and Brushes, Woodine,
Cowbell Coffee.
The Electoral Commission has reiterated its commitment to organizing free and fair elections this December.
How's your week treating you? I'm here to serve you great music tidbits for your at-work listening pleasure.
Rastafari, Rastafari, Rastafari. Our Father, who art in Zion, Kanamawe, Kanamawe, Kanamawe. Oh, turn it up!
Come into the mountains, sight and I grandpa.
It's time to drive you home in style with great music, the 411 and all your favorite stars, what's happening around town, and so much more.
And in the headlines today, the two leading political parties have been addressing the public on allegations of corruption. The Black Stars coach has unveiled his squad for the upcoming games, and there are some interesting names. Pull up! The weekend is here and it's time to turn up. Get your dancing shoes on, Lego. We really do have it all. It's a premium mix of information and entertainment every single day on 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio.
Welcome back to Key Point on TV3. We're live on 3FM 92.7, also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and on DSTV channel 279 all across the world on 3news.com and also on a number of radio stations in 7 regions across the country. Welcome to Key Point. And as stated earlier, the menu this morning is indeed a packed one. And I thank you so much as well for connecting with us. And as always, every week for you, our viewers who are a major stakeholder in this program, in this conversation, we always have a number of you sent me what I would call petitions as to the issues that you want us to talk about. Together with the production team, we'll see through as many and we'll do the best we can to address the issues that you bring to our notice. Thank you very much. Now, this morning, a rainy one as that. My guest trickling in thick and fast, and we'll get into the conversation this morning. The National Cathedral project, sometime, in fact, last week, just a little over a week ago, the Secretariat, through its board chair, communicated the findings of an audit that sought to give a clean bill of health to the project to continue. As you may already be aware, this project has stalled for a while, according to government, because of the lack of funds. Government has not hidden its intention to proceed with this project, no matter what the case might be. In fact, it is captured as well in the NPP's 2024 manifesto. But questions still abound as to this project, the objectives, and the times that we find ourselves in. The summary of the audit is what you see on the screen right now. What has been published is the 2020 audit. And in fact, a number of you thought that it was an updated audit that reflected the current state of affairs. When I look through the audit, at least the publication, then I got to know that it's actually the 2020 audit. The 2021 audit is in progress, is yet to be released or completed. The 2022 audit is planned to be completed by end of year. 2023 audit planned to be completed by end of year as well. So this one is as of the end of 2020. Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa is Member of Parliament for the Northtown constituency. He is the chair of the Government Assurances Committee of Parliament. And then also, as many of you have come to agree with that enviable position of Chief Interceptor position that he has had. He's joining us in the studio. Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, good morning. Welcome.
Hi, good morning, Alfred. Good to see you.
It's good
Thank
to
you
see
for having me.
It's good to be here with you as well. Let me also welcome Palgrave Boachi Dankwa, Dr. Palgrave Boachi Dankwa, who, through hard work, was awarded this doctorate It's a little over a month ago, or 2 months ago, right?
Well, Alfred, it's not an award. It's an academic study that I did.
But the academic study is always awarded.
4 years of academic study.
Indeed. But when you look at your certificate, it said this is awarded to.
Yes, but I mean, you know, in the plurality of other people, you know, having awards.
Well, I can understand
not earning that. If you don't put it in context, it appears as though
duly earned,
duly earned academic
hard
study.
work over a 4-year period.
Very much, with a particular thesis on servant leadership and organizational citizenship behavior among public sector workers in Ghana.
Servant leadership.
The moderating role of task interdependence. So
this is great, and congratulations
Thank
to
you very much, Alfred.
Perfect. As a government spokesperson on governance and security. It's good to have you, Palgrave. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. The Blackwell, this audit, and we're going to be flipping through the as was published over a week ago. But let me start off with this. How much has been spent on this project so far? What's the updated figure that you have?
Okay, so good morning to you, good morning to Palgrave, good morning to all our viewers. And let me begin by wishing our hard-working teachers a happy Teachers' Day. Today is World Teachers' Day. And if we can, English is not our mother language. If we can speak English and if we can read, then we have the teacher to thank.
True.
So we celebrate our teachers this morning, and we particularly salute them for all their hard work. You know, the teacher, I am very fond of Professor Nana Jenopoku-Ejima.
Indeed.
So I extend very warm regards to her, and indeed all my teachers who taught me right from KG all the way, and all of those who have taught us. We celebrate them. Teachers do a great deal of work.
That's right.
Often unrewarded here on earth. We hope that will change, but we celebrate them this morning. The National Cathedral Project is one of those projects that have entered the annals. It's the most scandalous, the most putrefying, the most offensive, and the most desecrating of the holy name of the Almighty. One will have thought that a project that is to glorify God will have begun on the basis of truth, of transparency, of integrity, and utmost cleanliness. That is not what happened. This is a project the president told us would not require state resources. He said that the taxpayers' money would not be put into this project. And yet, as we now know, it was a grand deception. He totally deceived the Ghanaian people, deceived the clergy, and even more sacrilegious, he deceived the Almighty. I had to intercept documents, as you now know, which revealed that on the blind side of Parliament, apparently copious amounts of taxpayer funds were being sunk into this project. As we now know, thanks to the work that the Vote of Censure Committee of Parliament did, we demanded a full account of the releases made from public funds, albeit without parliamentary approval. And it emerged that a colossal, a staggering $58.1 million. At the time, the exchange rate worked out to 339 million Ghana cedis. If you talk about $58 million today, you are approaching 1 billion cedis. So $58.1 million, and this is just taxes. Our taxpayer funds used for the project. This does not include the donations that have come in from all over the world. You would have to add about $3.5 million of donations. That is, if they are accounting properly. Now, Alfred, it is important for me, ab initio, to totally dispel
so
that.
So $58.1 million is what we have spent.
Is what has been spent so far to dig that pit, what is now described as the world's most expensive pit. which I'm told in recent times has been upgraded. Since Baumia started talking about an upgrade, it's been upgraded to a swimming pool.
That's what you're talking about.
That is what we see. $58.1 million. I mean, other countries, what they are doing with even $20 million, $30 million. And that is why when the Venerable Bishop Dakeward Mills resigned in his resignation letter, he said that, look, he has built temples, magnificent temples, with far less. That he, at the time, he thought that they had spent about $30 million. And he said that he could no longer take it, that he will be serving on a board where these huge sums of money will be spent on a project, and that is all you see, a hole, a very, very costly pit. Now, in doing this analysis, it is important for us to quickly dispel the notion that some auditors have cleared the National Cathedral Board of Trustees and the Secretariat.
Well, that's the communication that came through.
Good. You see, in this country, let's be very critical. Everybody is just swallowing hook, line, and sinker the statement put out by the National Cathedral Secretariat, signed by the chair of the board, Professor Apostle Opoku Onyina. We must state for the record that they did not attach the audit report.
They did not attach, yes.
Yes.
We haven't seen
Nobody has seen that 2020 audit. Nobody. We must state for the record.
Deloitte did that audit.
Yes. They must publish the audit if indeed they believe that they have been cleared. So that's the first point I want to make. If you believe that you have been cleared, that no adverse finding has been made against you, please publish the full, unredacted report. Let us have the full report. You remember the SML matter? There was a lot of hue and cry that we had to really struggle, file an RTI request and all of that until the president reluctantly released it. When it was released, we all discovered that apparently the executive summary, which had been put out, was largely distorted and had left out a lot of significant findings by the auditors. You recall? So we have seen that in this country, time without number. And you see, let us make it clear to public officials that when you have been given a mandate, when it has now turned out that this project we started as the president's personal pledge, we are not going to use public resources. Now it is clear that we have used public resources, albeit illegally. You must know that it is the people's money. Every report, every audit, every matter is of public concern. So you do not put out your own interpretation. We all know you are an interested party in this matter. We all know that. You are an interested party. So you have to, as a matter of fact, to build public confidence, make sure that you are presenting this report to the public. So as it is now, let our viewers understand that government has not published this Deloitte audit. It is an interpretation being put out by the National Cathedral Board of Trustees. We need to emphasize that point.
I see this was captured in the letter that was addressed to the heads of churches, and Christian leaders. The date of this letter, which we have a copy of, is the 24th of September, 2024, signed by Apostle Professor Opoku Onyina, chair of the National Cathedral of Ghana Board. Said it convened a meeting on the 20th of September, 2024, for Deloitte to brief church leaders in the country on the statutory audit report from the inception of the project to the period ending 31st December 2020. So between 2020 and now, we don't have the details of the report.
Yes.
At least the audit has been conducted.
So let us all agree that as we speak, nobody in the public, apart from those who are interested parties, who have a vested interest in this matter, who are claiming that they have been cleared. We haven't even heard from the auditors if the claim by the National Cathedral Secretary, and this is a project where I will take statements from people who work there with a pinch of salt.
But is this audit sufficient justification for this project to continue, based on what you know?
Brilliant question. That's where I'm coming to. The second fundamental point that I want to make. Let us also understand that this audit that they claim has cleared them is for only one fiscal year, 2020. They themselves, in that letter to church leaders, state that they are waiting for the 2021, 2022, and 2023 audits. They have said that.
It forms part of an ongoing statutory audit.
Exactly.
By Deloitte.
Exactly. Now, having all accepted that, that is not in controversy. All of us, including the National Cathedral officials, all admit, we all agree that 2021, 2022, and 2023 audits are outstanding. Let us therefore ask ourselves, what was audited in 2020? What is the financial breakdown in terms of the releases? Fortunately for us in Parliament, we asked the Finance Minister, when he appeared before the Vote of Censure Committee, to give us a detailed breakdown of the releases that he made. I have a copy of that letter here, dated 21st November 2022, signed by Patrick Nomo, Chief Director, on behalf of the Minister for Finance, and it was addressed to the clerk, to the committee, the Vote of Censure Committee. This is the breakdown that was provided in terms of releases for the National Cathedral project. 7 June 2019, an amount of $89,000 was released. At the time, the exchange rate, it worked out to 445,000 Ghana cedis. 5th March 2021 was the next release, according to the Finance Minister, $13.9 million, which works out to $80.5 million. Now, it is important for you to take note of these timelines. The 2020 audit, when you do the financial analysis, it is an audit on just 0.13% of the releases.
0.13%?
0.13%. According to the Finance Minister himself, the document he presented to Parliament on 21st November 2022, by 2020, there had been only one release of $89,000. We are talking about a $58.1 million release. So 0.13%. That is what all of this razzmatazz we have been cleared is about. 0.13%.
So that's the release for that 2020 fiscal year?
Yes. 0.13%. Can you believe that? So sometimes you wonder what these people take us for. 0.13%. Let me read the full breakdown. So by 2020, only one release, 89,000. 5th March 2021, $13.9 million. That's 80.5 million. 10 February 2021, $5.5 million. That's 32 million Ghana cedis. 29th October 2021, according to the Finance Minister, he released $25 million. That is $142.7 million. 19th August 2021, he released $10 million. That is 58.2 million Ghana cedis. And then on 31st March 2022, $3.5 million was released, and that is 25 million Ghana cedis. He provides a total of 339,003,064 Ghana cedis, 86 pesos, working out to some $58.1 million at the time. So the over 99% of our resources have not yet been audited. 2021, 2022, 2023, that's where 99 and more percent of our taxes were released. So nobody can say that because of some 0.13% audit, which we haven't seen, you have put your interpretation, you are refusing to publish it. So we should come along with you, and that you are preparing to resume this project. And you see, the lack of respect for the Ghanaian people. Who has endorsed this project? If you look at our national priorities, and you see, that leads me to another discovery I made this week.
What's that?
And look, I am so outraged, Alfred. Totally livid. Will you believe that this week, top national cathedral officials walked smiling all the way to their banks to receive their September salaries? And the documents have intercepted, copies of which I have here, from the IPPD, the Integrated Personnel Payroll Database. Since this project stalled 31 months ago, 31 months, these national cathedral officials have been paid all the 31 months. Can you believe that?
The period that the project has...
Yes. The project has stalled for 31 months. And the tracking I have done, assessing the IPPD, our national payroll database, they have been paid throughout the 31-month period for no work done. Whilst that pit was abandoned, has become a swimming pool, causing national outrage. Top cathedral officials, and let me give you their names. Dr. Paulo Poku Mensah, who is described here as the overseer of the National Cathedral, throughout the period, with his assignment number or employment category number as 1249725 in the database. Process for payment, 30th September, just this week. Then you have...
How much is that?
So he picked up 29,838 Ghana cedis. This week, on the 30th. And when you look at the database, I'll leave copies with you. They have been programmed in the system to be paid all the way to January next year. Can you believe that?
They're supposed to receive their salaries to January.
Yes, they'll receive in October, receive in November, receive in December, receive in January. I thank God that President Mahama is coming on, and after the December 7 election, we will stop all of this plutocracy going on. Reverend Father Ebenezer Saka Ameyao, also described as a church relation manager at the National Cathedral Secretariat. Assignment number 1467567. Also processed for payment 30th September.
And the organization he's described as a political appointee.
Yes, political appointees. So they are all political appointees.
I see.
Meanwhile, this is a project. They told us that they don't use public funds. On these three top officials alone, over the last few months of no work being done at the National Cathedral Secretariat, they have received 2.2 million Ghana cedis. When you do the analysis, you look into the database. 2.2 million Ghana cedis. You have Madame Rebecca Lovia Matecho Yakpo, who is described as the program director, with an assignment number 1472910 in the database. Also processed for payment 30th September 2024. Received 20,721 Ghana cedis. And you see, let the national context not be lost on you. This is a time that we are witnessing unprecedented labor agitations. I am glad that Professor Jampo is here. I have heard him. I've heard UTAG leaders. I have heard senior staff of our universities. Indeed, I have seen statements from our universities where they could not reopen. They have deferred reopening in a number of universities because of these agitations over unpaid wages, over government not giving them their due, what they deserve, what they have worked for. They are working. They are lecturing. They are marking scripts. And you know the population in these are universities. These are institutions. CITAC, which held the longest strike has served notice that they are going back to strike. Government has not been able to meet their demands. Today, we are celebrating teachers all over the world, the UN, everybody is celebrating teachers. This is how the Ghanaian government is treating teachers. They are all on strike. Not all of them have one issue or the other, one unresolved matter relating to their working conditions. Mortuary workers, can you believe that? How many are they? Mortuary workers. There was crisis in this country a few days ago. They have only given government 2 weeks. They say that just PPEs, personal protective equipment. So those who take care of us when we are alive, government is not taking good care of them. When we die too, those who take care of us, government is not taking good care of them. So all of these labor agitations, and then you have a government that is paying people for 31 good months for no work. We have all seen the pit. The world's most expensive pit, $58.1 million. So what is going on in this country? You have the Akufo-Addo Bawumia leadership that simply doesn't listen. Look at the uproar when Ghanaians discovered that, $58.1 million. I mean, institutions, look at what our vice chancellors are building, even with $10 million, with $5 million. See what they are building. I mean, recall some of the hospitals, Shai Osudoku Hospital, see, first-class hospital. How much did President Mahama use for that? So with $58 million, you can get so much. I mean, look, in terms of our infrastructure deficit. So after all of this outreach, in 31 good months, you are still paying these people. And in the system, you have programmed to keep paying them to January. It's like we don't care. More. I mean, there is no sensitivity, no modicum of respect for the Ghanaian people. Look, these are officials and reverend ministers who we all respect. As Christians, we have been taught, touch not the anointed. We are not anointed, so we all revere them, we fear them, we won't touch them. But you see, some of the members of the Board of Trustees, I recall, when we were in power, the NDC, under President Mahama, I'm referring specifically to the respected former vociferous Presbyterian moderator, Reverend Mate. You remember him? He was so vociferous. His famous statements. You remember he used the airport before President Mahama did the airport, rehabilitation, which has become an award-winning international airport. He screamed in an interview, "Nyansafwe, muwahi." Yeah, airport no, I had to say, Krasifo Airport. He was critical. He was speaking against corruption, speaking against wastage, against bad leadership. Reverend Emmanuel Mate. And we all listened to him and said that, look, we need more and more leaders of moral society to be vocal. So even though he was very critical, nobody attacked him. We gave him his due. I am shocked that he is silent and he is part of the members of the Board of Trustees and allowing all of this to go on. What would Reverend Mate have said if the NDC was in power, dissipating scarce tax resources on this scale, over $58 million, and then for 31 months of no work being done? Remember that I intercepted Ribade's letter to their workers. And those who need a refreshing of memory, Ribade is the consortium put together of Rizani Di Echa, Babi Soti, and Disimoni. These three companies, Italian giants, put together to construct this cathedral. They served notice on the 14th of March to their staff, all the workers, 14th of March 2022, the government is not paying us. Can you believe that? That is even scandalous in itself. That after all of these withdrawals, $58.1 million, the project contractor said that we are still owed, we are not being paid, so all of you go home. They asked all their staff, all the workers to go home. So since March 2022, 31 months, no work is being done, and yet people are being paid.
How far are you willing to go to get answers and accountability to this and the justification or otherwise of these payments we are seeing?
Very far. As you are aware, I have stopped at nothing. There is no avenue I haven't been to. I am assuaged, as you do know, with portions of this National Cathedral scandal. I am in court with portions of this in the series of Reverend Kusi Boateng, Kwabena Edu Jemfi. He has lost 3 rounds already, that double identity, criminal scam which was taking place. And I'm surprised that in the face of all these criminal scams, which the courts of Ghana, the Human Rights Court, has determined clearly the Justice Chawe Court determined clearly that there was criminality in the conduct of Reverend Victor Kusi Boateng, Kwabena Edu Jemfi. And the National Cathedral Secretary wants to tell us that all of this they haven't heard and they have been cleared, given a clean bill of health. So we have the court's options where we are there at that forum. Then in Parliament, there are several processes. You are aware that we filed a motion. The Honorable Atufos, Honorable Bua, Reverend Toso, myself, Honorable Agboja, and I think Honorable Sosu. The Speaker duly admitted that motion for a debate which we have held. And at the end of the debate, the consensus was that there should be a probe by Parliament. That has stalled because our colleagues on the MPP side have failed to present their members.
I see.
So that we can have that parliamentary probe into the National Cathedral. But even though they have engaged in a lot of this stonewalling, we continue to raise the issues in Parliament. I remember that we have filed a number of urgent questions despite their stonewalling on, and that is how come recently all of these figures were affirmed on the floor in terms of the illegal withdrawals. We have also filed questions which have now determined that about $3.5 million in donor funds came in. And normally we don't even add that to the $58.1 million. And then remember that it has also been confirmed that in addition to the $58.1 million, we are going to spend so much as a country to compensate the victims of demolitions that took place. Some way, somehow, when the president allegedly spoke to God, as he claims, God also gave him the coordinates, the specific location where he should put up this project. And so everything in the way had to be demolished. As we speak, the Ghanaian government must compensate the Malians. The Malian ambassador's residence was demolished. As we speak, Scholarship Secretariat has to be replaced. You know the cost of that. The Judicial Training Institute has to be replaced. The Chief Justice is looking for $50 million.
To build a new one.
To build a new one. Can you believe that? A building that nothing was wrong with it. Solid structural integrity. We need $50 million. Talk to the Chief Justice. The last time I intercepted their request to various banks, including the World Bank, they are looking for $50 million. Then don't forget the judges' bungalows. Already we've spent millions housing them temporarily at places I don't have to mention. We need to protect our judges. And then we are building new bungalows for the judges at extra cost. It's not part of the $58.1 million. And then don't forget that the passport head office was also demolished. We have spent 10 million Ghana cedis. We don't add that to the $58.1 million. We have spent 10 million Ghana cedis to build a new one for them near GIJ, now Unimac. That is not all. I'm not done with the list. Then we have bungalows belonging to Shraj. Shraj, Deputy Commissioner, they are bungalows.
Where the National Cathedral site?
Site demolished. They are now spending, the last time I tracked, they spent millions on rent for their top officials whose bungalows were demolished. We don't add that to the $58.1 million. I am not done. Private property owners, Comsys IT firm, their headquarters, demolished. They are owed compensation. Then there is Waterstone Realty Apartment Complex, another private company. Waterstone Realty. As for them, they say they have had enough of the dilly-dallying rigmarole. They've had enough. So they are at the High Court seeking full compensation, about $6 million. So look, by the time we are done with this National Cathedral disaster that President Akufo-Addo has brought upon us, and that's why I agree with Professor Jampo, who said weeks ago that people have to answer. People have to go to jail for this.
And you see,
look, you cannot do this to a bankrupt country, an insolvent country, a country that cannot pay its workers, who are agitating all over the place. And then they look at us in the face and say that, oh, some audit on 0.13% of releases. So we are preparing to resume work. Resume work with whose money? Who has given you the approval? The last time, after we caught them, and they decided to do the right thing and put 80 million in the budget, all of us, MPP and DC MPs, even MPP MPs were embarrassed to associate with this project. We all said, no, this one we won't approve. We don't know what our constituents will do to us when we go back. So it was not approved. So they don't have parliamentary approval to use our resources. So on what basis are these reverend ministers telling us that they are preparing to resume? Resume with whose money?
Remember
with what approval? What constitutional mandate?
The contingency fund was the avenue for...
Again, that was also unconstitutional. Look, if you read the PFMA, contingency projects are defined. A contingency is something that you don't foresee. You could not predict, some happenstance. So you cannot say that this project comes under contingency. Something that you say that you had a vision with God, that you are putting in place secretariats, you have appointed board of trustees, you have called your crony architects. Remember Bishop Dakiwad Mills' letter that President Akufo-Addo told them that when it comes to choice of architects, they don't have a say. Choice of venue, they don't have a say. He has already decided. In flagrant violation of our procurement laws. And don't forget that when I did an RTI to the Public Procurement Authority, they said that, look, please, Honorable, leave us out of this. We are not part of this project. So, how on earth, in the face of all of this, does anybody tell us that they are preparing to resume? On what basis? Look, no respect for the Ghanaian people. And that is why, look, as December 7 approaches, I will mince no words that for accountability's sake, to reset Ghana, to stop this impunity, and to make sure people pay for their crimes against the suffering Ghanaian people, we ought to vote for President John Dramani Mahama and Professor Nana Jinopokwaja. I mean, for accountability's sake. Look, this is total madness, and it cannot be allowed to continue.
You see, that question where you end is where I bring in Professor Ransford Jampo. You've referenced him a number of times. It's worth giving that official welcome after a long period of absence. Professor Ransford Jampo is a professor of political science at the University of Ghana, Legon, and an internationally respected governance expert. Professor Jampo, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, and good to be here. I think Sami has had all the time to talk about National Cathedral, and he said everything. So I don't know what I can add, but except to articulate what was agitating my mind. That why did the very revered Reverend Minister, my former chairman of the Church of Pentecost, come out to say that work is going to be commenced soon on the National Cathedral? I thought he shouldn't have commented. Well, everybody has his own style. If you are in a car and the car is going to be involved in an accident, people will choose to jump. Some people will jump out of the car, but there are some who would remain in the car and look on for the car to crash. Maybe his continuous association with this National Cathedral thing is because he just wants to remain in it till it, the whole thing completely comes to or gets into a crash. But I am a bit worried because given his stature in society, he shouldn't have, because there is no way that, first of all, I'm told, so per what Okujeto is telling us, they don't even have the funding. But assuming that they have all the funding, are they able to complete this cathedral in less than 2 months?
Because of the current state of affairs there.
Yes, yes. And then also, we know that whoever takes over power is not guaranteed, or there's no guarantee that that person or that administration would want to continue the cathedral. In fact, some of us have advocated that we surcharge President Akufo-Addo and use his own emoluments retirement package to seal and to reclaim the land, the place that has been, destroyed. So
the Akufo-Addo should be surcharged.
Yeah. I'm saying we should use his own entitlement, emolument, presidential entitlement. Yeah, that's gratia, to cover that hole that has been tackled, while we sit down to determine, identify who is culpable for legal suit for having caused financial loss, to the state. And so my worry is that it cannot be done in less than 2 months, and there is absolutely no way a new government would want to continue it. And so why are we...
Their manifesto, if they win.
If they win.
If Dr. Bawumia says...
Well, I don't know, but if they can't do it, if they can do it, why are they not doing it now? Okay, if they can do it, why has the project stalled all this while? Okay, so, I mean, if you want us to talk about what must be done and it's not being done and it's being deferred to when, if we win, we can go there. But I think, generally, I want to argue that it was absolutely unnecessary for this debate, this issue of National Cathedral to be stoked again in the public discourse or in the public space by someone that I respect, a lot. You see, because I have a lot of respect for him, I'm not able to say it as I want to say it. But the point is, I would respectfully counsel him that, look, he should just, if he would not resign from, and you're telling me, Reverend Professor Mate, I'm now getting to know that he's even still a member.
Yes.
See, when people are chopping, then they keep quiet. I mean, please, men of God, you see, some of us, we too, what we are doing is the work of God. Okay? What we are doing is the work of God. I tell you, sometimes we wake up and we pray, God, we don't want to talk. And then we are told, we sense in our spirit that you were created to be doing the kinds of things that you do. When they started, we told them, some of them called us behind the scenes, threatened us that we pray against you, it's the work of God, and so you should keep quiet. I'm saying that no amount of prayer can stop somebody who is also somebody who has conviction to do also the work of God. You say you are doing the work of God. We are also doing the work of God. Now, where are we now? So, are they still proud that they thought and wanted to foist the idea that our God does not prioritize. You know, they wanted to foist that idea on all of us. I mean, this one, it was pure common sense. And sometimes when you talk about pure common sense to Christians, they say, who gave you the nyansa? Okay, who gave you the wisdom? Professor Opoku-Yina himself, when he was the chair of the Church of Pentecost, introduced a lot of things in the church that bordered on wisdom, the need for us to work with also our education and our intellect. And he reformed so many things. So I was surprised he accepted to be a member. And now he's telling us work is going to continue soon. How are you going to continue that work? And like you said, as we sit and as we talk, public universities have been shut down. Yes, public universities have been shut down because some workers are demanding things that the government has not been able to do. As we talk, labor unions have announced a shutdown of the entire public service effective 10th October. As we speak, people are demonstrating against Galamsey, and they are being dealt with high-handedness, you know, political high-handedness. As we speak, yesterday, I was shocked. 100,000 cedis, 1 billion old Ghana cedis is just equal to $6,000. 100,000 cedis is equal to $6,000. 1 billion. That money that we used to dread. Hey, 1 billion is equal to $6,000. And as we speak, utility prices, the cost of utilities, you know, have been increased, and salaries of lecturers have not been increased. As we speak, government continue to support the very un-Christian, the very un-Islamic, and the very untraditional belief in LGBT rights, even against the mood and sensibilities of the generality of the people of Ghana. And as we speak, people who went about telling us about the incompetence, the corruption, and the difficulties that Ghana face when they were seeking to lead the MPP as their flag bearer, have suddenly changed course, and they are campaigning as if all have been well. I ask myself, what impunity, what arrogance. I mean, if there are difficulties, why don't you focus on solving them so that your solution will speak for you? You are not interested in solving the problem. But now it appears Ghana is on autopilot. And so we don't care about what is happening, but let's go about campaigning. It creates an impression as if we are all fools. There are challenges. I'm saying that as we speak, public universities are shut down. Who cares? But we are campaigning that we want to break the, now I don't know the number that you want to break, whether the 1 or the 8, I don't know. But so it is worrying. And please, it is not that you always want to speak against government. We speak against what is not good. Okay, it is not that you hate somebody and why are you always after us. But are you doing the right thing? Okay, are you doing the right thing? I told you, for 2 weeks now, the universities have not been able to open. And we are just there.
There's no indication of when this matter will be solved.
It doesn't, I cannot see my way clear, as to how or when, how quick the problem will be resolved. And look at what we are doing to ourselves. We brutalize people who were fighting for our own survival, people who were fighting for us. And we did this to them, and we treated them with this kind of judicial high-handedness, in a manner that show or points to an unnecessary abuse of the judicial processes, well, some way, somehow, I'm not surprised. You know, we had an IGP, or we have an IGP that some people felt was being too professional. He was doing his work too well, to the point that at one particular point in time, some people felt that, look, we appointed you and we must plot your exit. That didn't work. So suddenly, surreptitiously, then they appointed another person, deputy IGP, in charge of operations. What were we expecting, or what are we expecting him, or what is he expected to do? To come and teach people who demonstrate lesson. Otherwise, I know the typical Dampare would not do this. Okay, so what did they do? I don't support hooliganism, just as the president said when he demonstrated intemperance. Now we have, there's a paper that I'm researching about presidential temperament. Akufo-Addo he hasn't got a suitable temperament to become president. Look at the way sometimes he behaves in public. He sees chiefs and then does this to them. Get up, why are you sitting? And then he goes to voter region and he says things that undermine the respect of chiefs. A GJ president goes on a platform to talk about how Galamseyers, those who are demonstrating against Galamsey, have been treated, and is calling on authorities to act. And we saw how the president reacted. We saw it. And I'm just imagining, we've had presidents. Let's look at even J.J. Rawlings, the man who combined revolutionary fervor with democratic practice. I'm not imagining J.J. Rawlings giving that kind of response. Okay, I cannot imagine him doing that. Look at Kufuor. Do you think that if somebody has said this openly, you know, in a speech, and the person was seated with Kufuor, do you think Kufuor would have reacted the way Akufo-Addo reacted? Look at Prof. Samuels. Look at President Mahama. They wouldn't have done that. And so even his temperament it's not good. And it appears that these things are coming up because everybody knows, or he knows that, look, he's exiting. But we should begin to legislate about presidential comportment and how things would have to be done when clearly people know that they are exiting office. Because it appears that now you can do whatever you like, and I don't care. And if that happens, then we run down the nation, and then you jeopardize all of us, our security. And I think it is not good at all. So, Okujeto, I think you are doing well in your fight. I mean, we started these things way back in 2018. When we had traveled before, we've seen what other people have, how they've prioritized and what they have done in their country. And then we were also thinking about building a national cathedral. It's not that we are not Christians. It's not that we don't believe in God. But we felt that our God would want us to prioritize. Our God would want us to do things, we know when to do first things first. Okay? But when we're saying this, everybody was against us, and look, you are an atheist, you don't believe in God, and all that. Today, we've seen where we've got into. Right. I am ashamed for some of the people who are still serving on the board and they are still drawing salary. I think that if they have conscience, they should advise themselves.
Well, Dr. Pagre Bachidanko, and you see, to the extent that this also borders on governance, even though it doesn't directly fall on your lap, it is captured in your manifesto, that is a 2024 manifesto. But we've seen, based on the publicly available data and document as displayed today by some of the Black, and in fact, we've been displaying some of it on the screen as we go on. The cost of the construction so far, well, I mean, the cost of what happened at the site so far, because it's just the whole, we haven't seen foundation even yet. The cost of compensation that has been paid. I remember the last minister was in Parliament saying all the people who are affected by this have been compensated. So interesting you are bringing up this matter that some people are still waiting to be compensated for the demolition of their property on that National Cathedral land. Something we'll get into. Also, the cost of consultancy, because if you see the $58 million spent so far, Dr. Wajidankwa, that's about almost 50%. Over 50% of it was paid for consultancy services, correct? Yeah. That's what we see then. Yes, for the design of the cathedral, you know, that's architectural design and so on.
You know, after all these payments, when it emerged that he didn't add a restaurant, they asked him to add a restaurant to the design. He charged an additional $5.8 million for
the design of the restaurant.
To just attach a restaurant to the design, to the original design. $5.8 million. Incredible.
Dr. Ochidaka, in your heart of hearts, do you think that this construction should continue? I mean, in the current circumstance?
Alfred, let me greet your viewers and wish all teachers well, and to thank President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo for restoring teachers' allowance. It is his government and the government of the NPP that has made teachers happy today. You know, Alfred, this morning I had my quiet time and I read my scripture from Psalm 118, verse 24, which says that this is the day that the Lord has made, and that we will rejoice and be glad in it. The cathedral and its conversations borders a lot more on national interest. And in the grand scheme of governance, clearly where we are, there has been a lot more conversations around an audit. And I'm certain that once the 2020 audit is done, the 2021, the 2022, and the 2023 audit would be done as well. I would state that we should wait for the full audit to come. Then we can be able to understand how these payments were made. And then from there, in the future government of Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, from the 7th of January 2025, we'll be able to understand what the dynamics are in relation to what to do next. My comments on the cathedral will be very brief. I would ask the Honorable Okujato Ablakwa to do what is needful by putting a question on the floor of the House in Parliament and asking for a lot more clarifications. But for me, as a Christian, the building of a cathedral, the building of God's house, the building of churches across the length and breadth of this country and this world is a sacred conversation. And in the architecture of how we would want to have a national history, it's important that we have some monuments that represent our religiosity in terms of the country.
I see. But, I mean, it's not so much about the construction of the cathedral per se. It's about a lot more about the funding, especially because right from its inception, the communication was that we were not going to, or the president said that taxpayers' money was not going to be used to construct this cathedral. Then we now get to know that much of the, at least the cost so far, has been borne by the taxpayer. That's where the issue is. And do you find concerning that based on the earlier communication, what is actually happening now is contrary to what we were told?
So, you know, Alfred, I think that for me, it is out of these concerns that we have asked for an audit. And so I would want to wait for the audit of 2021, 2022, 2023 to come out. And then we can be able to ascertain and verify before any continuity of the building of the Nathaniel Cathedral.
But you still want the project to continue?
Well, it's not in my place to state. You know, it's really not in my place to state. I know that government is a continuum. There are projects that governments begin, that other governments come to continue. And so whatever that President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo is not able to complete within the tenure by the 7th of January 2025, the future government would continue that. So it's not in my place to state whether...
So that's what I said, because it's captured in your manifesto.
Yes, of course, which is why we are hoping and praying that, number one, on the ballot, the Ghanaian people would make a very clear, decisive decision to vote for none other than Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to come and continue building this country in the manner in which that we also desire the country to move.
But if you consider the sentiments generally about this, you think that the public sentiments support this project for it even to be captured in the manifesto?
No, you see, Alfred, I'll tell you something. When I have conversations with the largest people in the Islamic environment and the Islamic clerics, one of the things that they state is that when it comes to building of a house of worship, either a mosque or a church, it's a very sacred conversation. It's a very sacred conversation. And so for me, the fact that it's captured in the manifesto of the New Patriotic Party is a clear indication that we would want to continue to honor God in the architecture of this country. And so...
Without the taxpayers' money?
Yes, I mean, it is because of this that the audit is ongoing. I mean, because clearly, yes, we would want to raise funds to build this cathedral. That was the original intent, that funds will be raised. And I'm aware that a number of fundraising activities have already been ongoing in Ghana and even across the world. And churches as well on a regular basis also raise some funds in support of the National Cathedral.
Well, but Mr. Blackwell, well, Dr. Palgrave says he has just a few words, and indeed, rightly so, because, but if the NDC wins, just for the sake of a conversation, what's going to happen to this cathedral site? The current state of that site, and then also the questions about the demolitions of the properties that were sited on that particular land and the compensation paid so far. Because I'm getting so many messages asking that, is there an element of causing financial loss to the state there? Dr. Kwame Asante sends this one, and it says it's going to be of interest to the NDC in pursuing this matter. Since this demolition has been done already and the site is there, what happens to that particular location?
So I respond to that in a minute. Dr. Palgrave talked about the fundraising activities. Will you believe that the fundraising activities they engaged in, it is only in the case of Ghana that a fundraiser was commissioned, and instead of receiving a percentage of what he raises, which is a commission, this fundraiser was paid upfront. I'm referring to Mr. Carrie Summers, and I traveled all the way to the United States of America to do parliamentary oversight and discovered that all the claims he had made, the pictures he brought about the Nehemiah group and all of that, when I went to that address, it was not what had been presented to us in Parliament.
I see.
It was some ramshackled coffee warehouse. And this gentleman is keeping our $6 million. Can you believe that?
$6 million.
$6 million. I mean, why wouldn't you have a pit when these are your practices? You would end up with the world's most expensive pit. When $6 million is given to somebody to go raise funds, and as we speak, he has not lived up to expectation. The funds he was supposed to raise, he hasn't raised them. And yet, our $6 million is gone. So look, as for causing financial loss, so many people have to answer, including that architect who has engaged in the most atrocious of inflationary pricing. I mean, it doesn't happen. But talk to the industry experts. A project that hasn't even taken
the design.
Off.
The first payment was $89,000. Second payment was a little over $13.9 million.
Yes.
And
then another $5.5 million.
And you say
and there's another restaurant. I intercepted a document recently of another $5.8 million, for adding a restaurant. I mean, what will even be the cost for the total construction of that restaurant? These things cannot be justified under any circumstance. And this leads me to what would the NDC do, what have we stated in our manifesto? When you read the NDC manifesto, we do not mince words at all. We have said that there will be a full-scale probe because, you see, there are so many angles, so many bits and pieces. The crime scene has so many components. So we need a comprehensive probe into the National Cathedral. That's what our manifesto has said. And then we have said that people will have to answer for their crimes. They will have to answer. So there will be full accountability. When that is done, so the first thing is to demand accountability, have a comprehensive probe. When that has been achieved, then we will have a national consensus on what really should be the position of the Ghanaian people when it comes to that project and that site. We are not imposing our will on the people because there has been considerable agitation. I have heard the TUC say that we are better off using that place for a hospital. Some have said a children's hospital, a world-class pediatric center, which will be more glorifying to the Almighty. Some have said you can even do a mix, probably reduce the scope and do still a decent, magnificent cathedral to honor the Almighty, but have a hospital, you know, also on that side, because it's a huge acre, you know, many acres of land. So all of those proposals have come. So when you read the manifesto, we say that we will have a national consensus, bring everybody to the table, and let us all agree on what should be the way forward. We don't want to impose, you know, any personal idiosyncrasy on the Ghanaian people. And you see, that's the way to go in a democracy under a good governance architecture. You make sure that it is the people who decide, and you do the will of the people, you pursue the hopes and aspirations of the people. So that's what we are going to do.
I see. Well, let me bring in lawyer Martin Pebo, who's joining us now. He's a private legal practitioner. He's the leader of one of three individual bondholder groups, the convener of the Komi Preco demonstration. Lawyer Martin Pebo, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Kansi.
Thank you. It's good to have you.
Let me quickly, as usual, greet Gamanche Kentucky Teko Churu the second. It's very important. Gamanche on Cecilia Adapa, his poignant statement that how can one woman alone have so much money under her bed? That's the statement that's, yes, you see, very loud and clear. Okay, he's, I mean, no holds barred. This is what we should have more of our chiefs doing, just like Nana Kwesi Bosompra, Nana Gosuhine, saying that the EC should listen to the call for the forensic audit. Nana Gosuhine, good morning. And of course, CJ Sofa Kufu. Yes, Antiwa, we are waiting for more of the bites. Hey, I've forgotten. Domahini, Osia Deyo, Adiman Bedu the second. And then finally, when a lawyer says finally, another one. You know, Michael Flew just reminded me, you know, the 54.5 billion Ghana cedis that we cannot find. You know, the Auditor General promised us since sometime 2020, December 2020, that he was going to do an audit. 4 years. Akufo-Addo is going to leave office in the next, how many? Just about 3 months. And the audit report is not out.
That 54,
yes,
that's what the GCB...
Exactly. We can't find the money, and yet we are quiet. Look, just they say, I mean, come on, you will not get away with this. That audit report has to be released. Where is that money? Akufo-Addo was in opposition. What was it saying? Nasikano wahin, Nasikano wahin. You see the viper with 2 tongues. Paul Grace, are you here? You know, when I heard you talking about religion, I was like, no, please. So don't play on our emotions. Don't play on our emotions. Where was God when we elected Akufo-Addo? God knew that Akufo-Addo is such a bad man.
So that leads me to the next issue. The question about the financial loss to the state.
Yeah.
A number of people are asking questions about if there's any element in there and how things are played out, as detailed by Samuel Okujetu Ablakwa, that a case of financial loss to the state can be brought on this National Cathedral project. Do you see any case in there based on the details as we have it? If somebody wants to pick it up?
No. Oh, you know, any day I'll support it. And you heard what Professor Jampo said, that we should surcharge Akufo-Addo. Yes, that would be the first thing to do. He won't get a CD when he leaves office because they have to take that first. You know, I'll support it any day. You know, the other issues, I think, you know, the Zoom lion fumigation after the COVID, over 500 million. That's the one I said I will personally report to the OSP, right? And the other things that made me say he's leader of a criminal syndicate. So I'll support his prosecution for this National Cathedral. You see, let's look at it this way. You see, Honorable Ekuje to mention it. When Oforiatta was asked, they said, we didn't vote money for this. Then he said they went and took it from the contingency vote. Parliament didn't sanction it. Then it means that the discretion, they use their discretion to just take anyhow. We will not support such a thing. Let the courts decide if this is what the courts will sanction, that a leader can just come and willy-nilly just take money and start building a cathedral. And before building the cathedral, he will cause so much distraction. Let the courts decide. You see, sometimes when the thing is gray, then in that case, let the court decide. Yes, when you say you want to prosecute, it's not just about getting a conviction, right? If the evidence is such that we must start from somewhere. So I will support this in a prosecution for financial loss. I will support it any day because, and you see, what is so insane is that, so this cathedral, they've not worked for all this months, and we are paying those people. Them. Did you say Nyansafo? He's also drawing.
Yes.
Here.
Yes.
Nyansafo.
I think he's always been
he's on the board.
Member of the board of trustees.
Nyansafo, Reverend Marty.
Yes, he's on the board. He hasn't resigned. Those who have resigned.
And he's drawing the monthly salary.
Otabil, Bishop Dake Ward Mills, Reverend Sud Anaba, and then Archbishop Nicholas Dankamia.
No, so are we saying that Reverend Professor Marty, he's drawing that salary?
They get allowances.
Yes,
he's on the board. Yes, they take allowances. And then the Cathedral Secretariat, they are receiving allowances, salaries every month. If you look at the IPPD documents here, every month, for 31 months that the Cathedral project has been suspended, they go to their banks every month. Including this month, on September 30th, on Monday, they went to withdraw their salaries. Incredible.
But how?
Incredible.
This cathedral?
Yeah.
They didn't went for the demonstration. The thing was broken, and then citizens went in there and
this is now a
swam.
Pool.
Yeah, it's now a swimming pool. And you remember the young lady, that joke, it tickles me like joke. You know, a young lady was asked
putting that thing on
if she was going to church. And he said, no. Her church has not been built. Then they said, which church? Then she said the National Cathedral. So it means that for the next decade, that young lady says she's not going to church. She's waiting for the National Cathedral to be built before she goes to church. I mean, come on, we are kidding ourselves. You see the anger. Do you see that now? The anger in the country is increased. Yeah. The anger. I just feel sorry for Honorable Okujetu and co. Yes, they will come to office, right? But you watch it. We'll end up unleashing that anger on them. Yeah, people are pent up. Yes, you will come. That one, obviously, all the major recognized polling outfits, Fitch and Co. have said NDC will win. Yes, you will come. But unfortunately, the anger that we are feeling now, we are beginning to become more confident. More people are able to get out of their skin now. So by the time we get that critical mass of people who can come out and want to hold government physically, they will be in office. So they are the ones going to suffer, unfortunately. So it means that from day one, you will have no rest. So if you come and say we've been in opposition for long, so you want to chop, hey, it will turn like Sri Lanka. It will turn like Sri Lanka. We will physically come there and pull you guys out. We are not going to sit. I mean, come on, our classmates, our sons and daughters, people who have not worked, people who are sitting in Mini Coopers, mini cars. Now they have V8. Look, how much did we spend on the lorry ties, the car ties, the last budget? 35 million Ghana cedis, right? Is that not the figure you brought here? For ties, how many ties? Look at the vehicles. So what I see is that you will be the people to bear that brand because as more people are getting angrier, eventually we'll get a critical mass that can physically go out like Sri Lanka, like the Tahrir Square, the Arab Spring.
Hopefully it doesn't get there.
Oh, no, it will have to, unless they change, unless they stop looting us. Because it doesn't make sense that people who haven't worked, look at them in government, people who haven't worked, today they have mansions. listen, airport, cantonments, etc. People left, right, center. You think we will forever sit like this? It will turn physical. It's going to turn physical. Archbishop Duncan Williams told you that the Arab Spring, he sees it in Ghana. It will explode. We will not sit like that.
Well, just as we demand that accountable and good governance comes to play, and this is what you have been doing continuously every Saturday on this platform.
Yes.
As we seek to get answers to why this democracy must serve us well, as we make that campaign and that call continuously.
Yeah.
It is an expectation that the right things will be done.
Yes,
and
from
so
day
we'll
one. So JM, there's no rested, there will be no honeymoon. Because this anger, I'm telling you, 79 is likely to repeat itself.
Well, unfortunately, at this point, we cannot...
Except that the difference is that this one is a people's mass uprising. It's not a military coup. No, we don't need a military. They themselves, the military don't know governance. They've been more corrupt even than the civilians. I'm talking about citizens themselves massing up and taking over the reins of power. Like what happened in Egypt, the Arab Spring, and then Sri Lanka recently. We're not talking about the military.
So this democracy must be improved.
Yeah, absolutely.
To give us more than what we are getting now. Okay.
You ask Edem Apedo, your cameraman, ask him if as he's standing there, he's happy. Edem, are you happy? This is Edem Apedo, and then you are Evans. So ask Edem Apedo and ask Evans.
You see?
We are not inciting democracy. We are tired. You have your classmates, your sons and daughters come. They haven't worked. They haven't seen anything at all. Then now they are controlling everything, and then we look like we are stupid. How? Come on.
Good morning. The government must come clean on this National Cathedral matter. It says that hearing Dr. Pagre Buachi-Dankwa's response clearly tells me it says how much of a gentleman he is. Okay, this one here from Kizito, Tema East. It says, Dr. Palgrave won't have much to say, but see the harm he has caused by answering your question. I didn't get the question that you were making reference to. It says, NPP communicators never disappoint, but we Ghanaians want to assure the likes of Dr. Palgrave that they can't run away from their own shadows. This one here also says that accountability is key in governance. Hearing what Samolokujo Ablakwa is saying this morning clearly tells me that we have more answers to be giving than that probe by Parliament gave us with respect to this cathedral. We should not play this on the political field. This is not an MPP NDC matter. It is our money that has been spent and answers must be given. Thank you. Also, this one here says that to the extent that we have state funds expended on this cathedral, we expect Parliament to do the needful for and on behalf of their constituents. Did I hear Okujeto Ablakwa say that he will file a question on this matter? Yes, I think you mentioned it in passing that an urgent question will be filed on this particular cathedral and the money spent so far on it. Thank you. There are a number of questions about what, if there's a change of government, what will be done to the National Cathedral. I think that question has been answered. Okujeto Ablakwa says there's going to be an inquiry, right, or a probe.
Yeah,
you do
a
probe to determine what to do next with that cathedral site as well. And okay, Dr. Kwame Asante is asking for a detailed breakdown of the compensation paid to the people. Well, it's something that we'll get into as well. But Samolokujo Ablakwa just outlined the institutions that were affected by the demolition at the cathedral site for the construction to start. As to the monies paid to these institutions, well, we know a few, but not all.
Not all.
Not COMSIS, for instance, is in court.
Not all has been paid, yeah.
Yes, so COMSIS, for instance, is in court. So we know that 6 million...
Waterstone royalties.
Waterstone, of almost $6 million.
Yes.
Is what we're talking about. So those ones, at least, we'll get the full breakdown, and then subsequently we'll let you know as well. But this matter leads us to our next issue, which is also a burning matter on the table. But a number of parents, Professor Jampo, and this briefly, are asking that, is that the case that for as long as this strike continues, we do not have any end in sight as to how long our children will stay at home? Because it is costly feeding them. Anyway, so yeah, that's coming from Nanaya Santua. Thank you very much for your message. Well, for as long as we do know, for example, there hasn't been any intervention to the Tewu and senior staff of associations of the universities and all of those other institutions that are the associations that are on strike now. No intervention as we speak, correct?
Well, this week I was told that some meetings were held with them, and still the issues have not been fully resolved, and that's how come. And it must be put on record that this strike doesn't involve university teachers. I get people calling me and asking me about when you guys are going to be ending your strike. I said, this is purely not about UTAG. It's about the university administrators, yes, the TEU people, and then GAWA and FUSAG. I mean, they are on strike. And some of the things that they are demanding, and I mean, legitimately demanding, are such that, you see, if regimes or governments know how to treat labor with respect, they will be able to quell or prevent some of these things from happening. People are talking about their Tier 2 pension. You have deducted money towards their pension and you are not paying. And then they went on strike, and because of that, you sat them down and said, well, we are going to pay. You have still not paid. And if for some reason you are not able to pay, isn't it more courteous to just speak to them that because of X, Y, Z, we haven't been able to pay, so give us some more time? They are not doing that. And so many other demands that are being made that are not being addressed. And so, unfortunately, the university, if you like, University of Ghana, for instance, was supposed to reopen somewhere last 2 weeks or something. And the university management thought that it was more proactive or prudent to ask the children to stay at home rather than to allow them to come and loiter, around. But I think upon second thought, if I were to be advising them, I would have advised that they allow the children, the students, to come to school. And then if they are loitering around and they are not doing anything, then they would put also more pressure on the government to act. But generally, who wants strike? I mean, we don't want strike. Those of us who do these things, it's always a last resort. So we appeal to the government that, look, and like I said, it appears that, look, there isn't much sense of urgency being exhibited in addressing some of the demands of the workers in these public universities. And it appears to me that it's as a result of the fact that some people feel that, look, you can do whatever you want to do. After all, we are on our way out. And this is worrying. I don't know, but it appears that there is no synergy between those who are still holding on power and those who are in the bush campaigning. There's no synergy, there's no relationship. Whereas some people are campaigning to break whatever number, some people are also doing things that clearly undermine the campaign. And so I find it difficult. I mean, Paragraph, you know the difficulties that you are going through. You see what is going on, and obviously incurring displeasure of people. And then at the same time, some of you are also out there campaigning. You are campaigning for what? Why don't you come home to sit around the table, solve problems, and rather win the hearts of people who are disgruntled? It doesn't show courtesy, it doesn't show respect to those people you are asking to vote. And you should also stop the insult you continue to heap on people in the hinterlands. Dear people in the hinterlands, what the politicians of today keep telling us is that as for you guys in the hinterlands, the kinds of things that bother those of us in the cities do not bother you. So as for you guys, it's just something small that they will give to you, and then you will be happy, and then you will vote. So they are not, I mean, sometimes last weekend, I think we're driving from Jirapa to Accra. And then you saw the roads, and I saw the Jirapa to Accra, okay? I saw the posters, big posters that were displayed of people looking for power. And I kept asking myself that, so do these people have government? Are they part of Ghana? The roads, the gaping holes, the potholes, and the impoverishment within the rural communities. And yet the politicians tell us that, look, these people, they don't need much. You are those guys in Accra and you are making a lot of noise about cost of living. But these people, we'll give them something small. We just have to sing party songs and give them party paraphernalia. Just party t-shirt is enough for them to make up their mind. And I'm telling you guys in the hinterlands that you are worth more than party t-shirts. You are worth more than sachet water. Sometimes they come and they are sharing just sachet water. You are worth more than that. Okay. Some of us are talking the way we are talking because we want improvement in the physical quality of human life. And so, whilst these challenges linger on, I do not see why you go on to brazenly, and sometimes look at the way they speak, they talk when they are campaigning. And as if are we all dogmatic? Are we all not discerning? So and things are getting out of hand. So coming back to the point that you made, the universities are not opened. We are hoping and praying that in the next few days, some agreement will be reached, and then we'll be able to commence. Our academic calendars have been distorted every now and then. We are not happy about that. Right. And we are hoping that government would move those who are campaigning, they will stop the campaigning and come home and come and address pertinent and pressing issues. If you are able to address pertinent and pressing issues, the way you offer solution to them will itself campaign for you. It will speak for you. Okay, but if you don't do that, and you rather go about talking about the kinds of things that you want to be doing when challenges are there, I mean, it creates an impression that you don't respect us. And let me make this point. You still on the on Galamsey, or we have not gotten to Galamsey? We're getting
to that now.
Okay.
And
so I just wanted to respond to the medical doctor.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Don't worry. And it's some 30 minutes at the top of the hour. A number of your messages have been able to read as many. This one here says that says Key Point is an awakening program that gives us a reason to want to still believe in this democracy we are practicing. Martin Pebbles' bitter truth is one we must all embrace this morning. It says that this democracy must continue to offer us more, and that can only happen when we demand more. Thank you very much. It says, Dr. Emmanuel Chum says, I don't believe in polls, so any political party that dwells it and puts its hope only on polls may just be surprised at on election day. Sorry. It says, so let Martin Pebbles reference to all the polls predicting a particular political party winning also be one to take note of. Essentially saying he doesn't believe in polls, but that's the position he espouses as well. But thank you. That leads us to our next conversation, illegal mining. This matter has both environmental and political impact. We've been talking about this for over 2 months after this new or renewed Galamsey conversation came up. It's been, for many, a season of no action, talk only when it comes to illegal mining over the period. So this time around, something different must be done, and we cannot do the same things and expect different results because of the existential threats that we're faced with now. According to the CSIR, about almost five of our water systems are gone as a result of illegal mining. That's the threat we're faced with. What we are seeing on the screen, for the benefit of those listening to us on the radio, 5 major rivers in this country. Ankobra, what the brown patches you see there is the river, Ankobra, polluted. This is a satellite image on the Google map you will find. Ankobra River, polluted. Let's go to the next one. River Ofin, also brown there, polluted. Next one. the Pra River, which has become the reference point for this renewed fight against illegal mining. That's the Pra River, brown, polluted. Tano River, you see the brown path there. That's the river, polluted. And then this is the Bonsa River. The Bonsa River is close to, in fact, a water treatment plant of the Ghana Water Company Limited. So it stands to reason that the water that this treatment plant is treating is from the polluted Bonsa River that we see in there. Hey. It cannot be, yes. It cannot be the case.
Bonsa in the western region.
Yes.
Hey, rubber. You know, that's where we produce a lot of rubber.
That's right.
Jesus.
In fact, we understand that some of these rubber plantations are also selling their lands to illegal miners.
Oh, dear.
Because they are offering so much. The same with the cocoa farmers as well, as we're seeing now. With all the campaign that we have seen, labor waded in strongly and made a number of demands, in addition to what the CSOs have also been asking for. They wanted an immediate declaration of state of emergency. That has not happened. Revocation of the law allowing mining in forest reserves, the LI 2462, that has not happened. The special court to prosecute mining offenses, that is yet to happen. And the revocation of the law which declassified parts of Achimota Forest as a reserve, that has not happened. All political parties to sign a pact to ban on illegal mining, that is also yet to happen. So, in effect, they declared a strike beginning the 10th of October, which is some 5 days away from today. Shut down government business to send a strong message about this illegal mining. 2 days ago, we got information that the president called labor to plead for more time. One key member of the organized labor in this country is around the table today. Professor Ransford Jampo is the president of the University of Ghana chapter of UTAC, in addition to everything that he does. Prof, were you at that meeting with the president?
No, I wasn't there, and I'm not sure I would have been invited, because maybe I would have told the president in the face that he has not done well for Ghana at all. But yes, they have gone to see the president. The president invited them. Look, on the front of labor, organized labor, we were divided. It's just that
you were divided on whether to attend the meeting or not?
Yes, we said we didn't see the reason why we should. I had anticipated that if we are declaring strike on 10th, then the presidency or government will call you to a meeting. And I told them that there was no need for them to attend any meeting. You see, this knee-jerk reaction from government is so pasco and is so nonsensical. You know, when we started earlier, then government said, I've put together an interministerial committee to address the kinds of things that you are talking about. Then the interministerial committee invited labor. They went to waste public resources to rent a hotel and to invite labor to that meeting. Some of us said that labor should not honor that invitation because it was going to be inconsequential. And people said, oh, you are too hot-headed, and they have called you, you go. And then they went. They engaged them, and then they were told that, give us 1 week, we'll revert to you on the demands that we've made. The 1 week expired. Okay, days have gone past the expiration of the deadline they gave. I mean, is it not just proper and courteous that if for some reason you cannot honor your own deadline, you reach out to labor to tell them, actually, we told you that we would get back to you in 1 week, but for X, Y, Z reason, we've not been able to, so give us some more. Is that not courteous?
So when you give the September 30th deadline,
no,
government met you. Sorry, they reached out.
Yes.
That they were
interministerial committee chaired by the National Security Minister.
I see.
Okay, and they reached out, and if for some reason you could not revert to us on the promise that you've made, that look, by this time we are going to revert, and then we would let you know what we are doing about. They couldn't do that, and they didn't even have the courtesy to reach out to us to tell us that look, for some reason we could not honor our own deadline. And I've always argued that even though this particular government, when it was looking for power, touted its credentials of having the men, it appears the men are not there. Because part of responsive governance is to know how to have relational competence in relating with people. Because there are certain things that will just blow up in your face simply because you were not competent in handling relationships. Okay, so they did not reach out. And then we met. And then we said, look, the deadline they said they were going to meet with us have elapsed. We have not heard anything. And so a decision was taken that effective 10th, there should be a shutdown of the entire public sector. And that was when I told them that, yes, we are taking this. And what people don't know, some people said, oh, Labour, why did you give that long period of time? The shutdown should have been immediately. I mean, let's educate some people. They see the organized labor is made up of various labor unions. And so if organized labor takes a decision at that central level, the various unions would also have to go to their constituents to let them vote or decide to affirm the decision of organized labor. So in UTAG, for instance, at the moment we are talking, there are votes ongoing, on the 16 public university campuses, and just to affirm
whether to go on strike,
whether to affirm the decision or not. And I know I can tell what the outcome will be. And so that's how come that we had to give a certain. So that time we gave was not for government to do anything, because we knew that government was not going to do anything, but it was for ourselves to be able to be together in prosecuting the agenda of shutting down the entire public sector. And then at that meeting, I told them that, but take note that they will call you.
You told them that?
I told them, take note that they would invite you. When they invite you, I told them again that, don't go.
You told your colleagues?
Yes, I said, don't honor that invitation. Why? Because the first invitation that you honored has not yielded any results. So don't go. And then again, we were divided. Let's go. But when we go, let our position not be changed and all that. At the end of the day, you belong to a group. And so you cannot always expect that what you say is carried by everybody. I think the decision was that, okay, if they call, let them go. Now they went, and then I'm told the president pleaded for time and all that. Take note of this. Organized labor is yet to brief us, all of us, even though I'm privy to what have happened. They are yet to brief their membership of what transpired, okay, at Jubilee House. They have not done that.
I see.
They will do so on Monday. But quickly, for propaganda reasons, you have the Minister for Information issuing a statement. We have met with organized labor and blah, 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 blah. And I said, but to what end? Are we supposed to know what transpired? Are we supposed to be informed about what transpired by you and not by our leaders? You see, so every now and then, government is trying to resort to propaganda. What they did was simply to create an impression in the minds of people that, government even wants to do something about it. But organized labor, maybe they are doing something too much. Okay, they are just being unnecessarily intransigent. Because what was the point? You know that we have not informed. Members have not been informed. What members have heard, they've heard them from through the media. Organized labor is yet to meet with its constituents and to officially inform them about what the president said. And so the Minister of Information had no business jumping ahead of all of us to create an impression as if they are doing something. They are doing something that is so good that should be applauded. So, we are told that the president begged and then had a lot of discussions with our leadership. I know the kinds of things that he said, but I want to wait till Monday. And if a summary or a detailed report is presented to us, then at that time, we would all be able to take a decision whether to still go on with our strike or to rescind our decision. And I don't want to jump the gun. So I want to show courtesy and respect to other labor unionists that when we all meet on Monday, the issues that the president acceded to and all that will be tabled before the generality of the membership. And we'll decide. But the point is, if the president is asking for some time or more time, how many more time? I don't know. You have less than 2 years, 2 months to exit office. So what time are you asking for again? President Akufo-Addo, I think that there are so many things that you have not done well. And the actions and reactions of the president continue to solidify the perception of people that as for President Akufo-Addo, all that he was looking forward to becoming was to become a president. So once he's become a president, that is all. The rest don't matter. Otherwise, we are talking about existential threat. A top military officer told me, I can't mention his name. He said, look, Ransford, if we want to stop the Galamsey, if we are given all the powers to stop the Galamsey, we'll stop it in 1 day. Okay, so we can stop it just in 1 day.
The military.
So we can stop it in 1 day. But it is just that the politician has no political will to stop it. And so, people keep calling you and telling you that, look, your timing is wrong. Okay, your timing is wrong. If people are dying today, you say I should not talk about it. The timing is wrong. And what do they mean by the timing is wrong? If we fight Galamsey now, listen, if we fight Galamsey now, it will mean that we are going to lose our seats in the areas and regions and constituencies where Galamsey is, activities are taking place. And so we should stop. And I'm saying that what is the logic in this kind of reasoning? So all of a sudden, partisan politics supersedes the need or the quest for us to protect the sanctity of human life. Is that what we are saying? As we speak now, we are told, and I wish him well. I think that if you meet him behind the scenes or private, he's a very good man. As Antibidi, we are told that he's not well. Okay, but what money won't he have? I'm sure he will have all the resources. But what is the value of resources? What is the relevance of money if you don't have health? What is the relevance of money if you don't have life? Okay, so politicians who are saying, who are asking for political power, politicians who are saying that we should stop talking about Galamsey and let them get political power first. I'm asking, what will be the value of political power if tomorrow you get the power and you are dead? What will be the relevance of political power if tomorrow you are elected or voted into power and you don't have good health to even govern? And so my point is, we should not be doing this to ourselves. It is not against any regime. It is against those who are waging a war on all of us. And we cannot wait. We must fight. And that leads me into what I wanted to say, that after a very long period of training and education, we are told that we have a medical doctor going out in the public domain brazenly to say that we will not stop Galamsey today, we will not stop Galamsey tomorrow, and that it is just about last month that the water got, muddied and destroyed, just about only about 1 month ago. When on November 4, 2022, the managing director of Ghana Water Company wrote or openly granted interviews talking about how we have destroyed our water bodies and how it is becoming difficult for us, for them to purify the water for us to drink. Now you have a medical doctor who is saying that this thing happened just about a month ago. And then he goes on to say that it is some people who went to recruit foreigners, and when they recruited the foreigners, they asked them to go and mine in the water bodies. You said this for a fact. So you are in government. You represent the state. So when you saw that they were recruiting people...
Didn't say some people, say NDC.
Well, he said NDC. So when you saw that the NDC as a party was recruiting people and asking them to go and mine in the water bodies, what did you do to them? The essence of governance is to find solutions to problems. And so when you saw NDC people, they have gone to recruit and they are asking them to... Yes, so you are asking them to go and mine in the water bodies. What did you do? You looked on and then you are talking about it. You looked on whilst they destroyed the water bodies and then you are now talking about it. So what becomes the role of the state in curbing some of these things? You see, so sometimes I've always argued that excessive partisanship is a bane on quality educational outcome. You see, if you may have people who are highly educated, but because of excessive partisanship, the value of their educational outcome is always reduced. And I've also argued that excessive partisanship will always breed madness. Because some of the things that go on, you see, but so you are highly educated, a medical doctor who knows how people, and look, if you speak to my own UTAC secretary, he's a chemist. Last week, he was trying to tell me about the effect or what we are doing, the proper effects of the galamsey on our water body. He said that, look, forget about how muddy the water is. That one, we can clean it. We can purify the mud. But he goes on to talk about certain heavy metals that have been dumped into the water that will be difficult for us to remove. And these heavy metals are the ones that are causing the kidney failures, the liver disease, the cancers, and all that.
So mercury.
And I kept asking myself, so President Akufo-Addo, is he not aware of this? How come I know and he doesn't know? Is he not aware of this? And so, how many more days does he need to do what he's supposed to do? Okay. He is an executive president, and I'm saying that we all saw it. Look, let us give credit to where credit is due. When President Akufo-Addo said he was putting his presidency on the line, and when he had Minister Amewu as the Minister for Lands, we saw the kinds of things that happened. We saw the seriousness with which they tackled the galamsey menace. But when that meant that, so it means they'll have to lose some vote, then he went back to take back his presidency and said, I'm no longer fighting. But I'm asking him, what President Akufo-Addo, what do you want again? Tomorrow, if you are asked that be a president for the next 8 years, I'm sure he will say he won't do it because he's old. Okay, so why won't we think about leaving a legacy? Why can't it be possible that President Akufo-Addo will say that, look, I don't care about the coming election, but I care about leaving a legacy for Ghana. It should be said that it was during my tenure that I ended galamsey. Is it too much to ask? And then they are saying that, it is going to be, what you are doing is going to inure to the benefit of the NDC. And so you should stop it. And people are saying we should also be talking to the NDC. I said, I don't care about the NDC. I care about the destruction of our source of livelihood. And I am wondering how some people would argue that, well, this thing would hand over power to the NDC, and so when the NDC gets into power, then some of us will say that, okay, because now it is NDC, we should be Reverend Professor Marty. Because it is NDC, we should be quiet and then let them also encourage galamsey. If you say that, it means you yourself, you cannot think properly. And because you can't think properly, you think all of us also do not have conscience. And some are saying that, look, this fight is because some people have gone for money. The NDC has given money to some labor union heads, and that is how come they are doing what they are doing. As if we don't have sense and mind of our own, as if the destruction of water bodies is something that when we see, we can easily gloss over, take money and say that we should. If you take money, are you not the one who is going to drink the water that is infested with mercury and it is heavily polluted? So it is not about somebody taking money. It's about fighting an existential threat. And I'm saying that human life must always take precedence and preeminence over partisan political power. Human life is more valuable and important. This is basic course that nature itself teaches. Okay, so when you see people trying to say, the timing. When should we fight galamsey? Somebody told me over the week that, look, wait and let election 2024 be over and then we will all fight. I said, you are mad. So how about if we don't all leave up to see December 7? So people should not allow excessive partisanship to make them mad.
Professor Jampo is the president of the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, Legon chapter president, a senior member of organized labor. He was not at the meeting, but has had a lot to say on what is happening within organized labor, the division in organized labor about the stance they have taken against illegal mining. There was some news about, organized labor being given some money. The National Security Minister came out to debunk that. Yeah. That never happened. But
Mr. Kumsin.
Yes.
Kumsin also denied.
Kumsin, yes. Yeah. But with the events and how things are playing out now, there are a number of you who are making reference to that particular issue. But Dr. Paul-Grebachidankwa's portfolio borders directly on this. Government spokesperson on governance and security. What was the essence of this meeting that the president called labor to have with them? What was it meant to achieve?
Alfred, on Galamsey and illegal mining, yesterday I was on Hot Issues 3FM with Beatrice, Edu, and I think that in the midst of the conversations, I got very upset with some of the things, and so I made some statements that was not good. So I'd like to send an apology to the former director of the Ghana School of Law, Dr. Ansansari, about some of the comments that I made. But clearly to go...
What did you say?
There's no need repeating what I said. Prof, you're a bad gentleman.
Yes, let's proceed.
Yes, you're a bad gentleman.
What you say?
You shouldn't be. Yes. No, but I think it's important that upon reflection...
Because
I mean, why
not?
That
program, so I know exactly what he said.
Upon reflection, I think it's worth retracting. Yes.
Not all MPP people behave like the way you have behaved. I've done well.
No. Gentlemen, let's...
I'm sure it's because he was my protege. When we were come over for, so I brought him up well.
Thank you for that.
Alfred, the President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo very much has been observing what has been ongoing in the public domain, and proud to organize labor bringing out their documents. The President had set up this committee to meet with organized labor to be able to see how this illegal mining can be addressed. Very clearly, I can appreciate and understand the issues that have arisen, the destruction of the water bodies, the children that are being born with deformities, the cyanide, the mercury. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that it can have a trickle-down effect into a sizable part of the country and the health implications of that. When organized labor brought out their statement requesting for 3 items that the president calls for a state of emergency, revocation of the LI to be able to license small-scale miners, LI 2462, and then a setup of smaller courts to be able to deal with ongoing illegal mining cases. On Thursday at about 9 o'clock, the president met with organized labor, and I thought that was a very swift action by President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, especially when organized labor has stated that on the 10th of October, they are going to have a nationwide strike, which impacts a lot of things. Impacts revenue, mobilization, impacts the constant productivity in the country. And so it was good that the president had a meeting with organized labor to be able to give them an appreciation of government's position and government's preparedness to be able to solve these issues. And also in cabinet of Thursday, you are aware that the president Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo on a bi-weekly, weekly basis meets up with cabinet meetings. It was one of the most topical issues. I didn't find anything wrong, really, with my sector minister, the Honorable Hajia Fatima Abubakar's report to the nation, because you see, there is an arm of government that met with organized labor, and organized labor has a responsibility to also respond back to their members, which they will do on Monday, as Professor Jampo has said. But if the respected Honorable Minister for Information puts out a statement, and it's just 3-paragraph statement, and Alfred, if you mind me, I'll just read that. It says, the President's meeting with organized labor, press statement. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, held a meeting with organized labor yesterday, 3rd October 2024, at the Jubilee House to discuss issues pertaining to small-scale illegal mining. Government would like to thank organized labor for attending upon the president's invitation. Government is committed to engaging all stakeholders in pursuit of sustainable mining and environmental protection. Signed, Fatima Abubakar. This is very clear, it's very succinct. There's not much details about what transpired in the meeting, as Professor Jarampo is alluding to, that we are trying to let the Ghanaian people know what transpired in the meeting and the fact that we are trying to do the work of organized labor. It's neither here nor there. Government has a position to be able to let the Ghanaian people know of the government's position and government's preparedness in all this regard. You know, Alfred, I look at illegal mining, really, and I look at it in a way of the entire mining value chain, okay? You have mining that is ongoing, that is raking in revenue. You have mining that is ongoing in small-scale environments where we have sought to bring in responsible mining, okay? In the years of old, you had faceless people that were involved in illegal mining, which is against the law. Now, our government has had to bring in responsible mining by giving licenses to small-scale miners to be able to mine responsibly. I think that is key, that now clearly you can identify people that are involved in mining, you can guide them to be able to do responsible mining. When we came as well, we met a situation where a lot of the mining sites that had been mined were left, the empty pits were left. Our government had sought to reclaim those lines, a sizable part of that. We also realized that there were people who lived in mining communities who were vulnerable to mining that was being done there, so they had no alternative livelihood, that they had to be involved in it. Our government set up the alternative livelihood program to ensure that people who live within the mining environment can have another opportunity to do other ways. I know a few people who live in mining environments who now, because of government's alternative livelihood program, are able to do a lot more different works beyond mining. Government as well also brought in the small-scale community mining, because you see, a lot of the mining that is being done must be owned by the community. We have set up about 20 community mining schemes that are ongoing now. It is right that people who do mining don't use mercury to be able to clean up their minerals when they get that. So government brought in 10 mercury-free machines, and I mean, our government secures to do more in terms of bringing a lot more mercury-free machines that the small-scale miners can be able to use. If you look at all of these efforts and impacts that President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo has made, you can clearly see that the mining industry has grown and the revenue thereof is impacting the country positively. Now, on the water bodies, just yesterday, I saw that the Ghana Water Company brought out a statement about the Secherehiman water plant, the Secherehiman treatment plant, about the fact that the gallons of water that they used to receive, which is about 1.9 million gallons per day, now it's increased to about 2.7 million gallons per a day, which means that the Secherehiman environment, which takes care of central region and other parts, is beginning to improve in terms of the cleanness of the water. And clearly
that's what is on the screen. But you see, this particular statement, Doc, the turbidity, that's the level of pollution of this water, was 14,000 NTU. It's reduced to 9,000. The ideal turbidity level, according to WHO standards, is supposed to be 5. For Ghana Water, we talk about within the region of 100, 200, thereabout. We're talking about 9,000. What exactly are we celebrating here?
No, you see, Alfred, we are not celebrating. We are talking about government's response and how government is seeking to address this issue. Okay, I mean, you allude to the fact that yes, it was 14,000 NTU and now it is 9,000 NTU. We are very certain that in the coming days, it will reduce further, because you see, it's important that we try to also look at the works that is being done. And I'm glad that when the president set up the 5-member committee, they met up with organized labor, made organized labor be aware. The president also called all the regional ministers and instructed them again to ensure that RESEC steps into the small-scale mining industry, especially those that are doing illegal mining. So for me, I look forward to organized labor not going through their strike. I hope that they would be minded to.
But why should organized labor listen to the president?
Well, because you see, you have brought an issue to the attention of the president that the president is already aware of. And I've stated that, you know, Alfred, calling a state of emergency, revoking LI 2462, setting up smaller courts and all of those, it doesn't take a day or two to do that. You need to be able to meet with the various stakeholders and ensure that everybody is on the same table. I mean, imagine that you're going to revoke a license of person A, and the person A takes you to court. You can imagine the number of chaos that all of that is going to create. So for me, I would suggest to organized labor, including Professor Jampo here, that they should attend to the invitation of the president to hold on to their strike and give government a lot more time. I'm also aware that before the 10th of October, the president, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, will meet with organized labor again. But, you know, Alfred, there's something that we need to be mindful of in this country. You know, Professor Jampo brings in the secretary to the president and makes a statement about his ill health. You know, I saw the post on social media. He's repeated it on this platform. I mean, no one really would want to use someone's health and equate that to...
I think that was not done in malice.
No. I don't think. No.
Then you are trying to twist it.
No, but you see, no. I'm not twisting it.
Do you want to read what I posted on Facebook?
Hold on. Let me say this.
So don't go there.
So
you don't like him more than I do. Please.
Hold on. Dr. Pagreb Bachinamba. The underlying tone with that statement made by Professor Jampo, I don't think communicated any malice, did it? Or from where you sit?
But you know, Alfred, the issues we are discussing, there was no need. I think. No, I'll be honest with you.
I don't think you made reference to that.
No. Was I not talking about health?
No.
Was I not talking about the fact that you can... You see, people are saying we should stop the fight against Galamsey because it will make you lose power and you not also get resources.
Okay.
And I'm saying that money is like a stupid toilet paper if you don't have health. And that's why I said that.
And what shows that the secretary? What shows that the secretary to the president has money?
No.
What shows?
Please.
What shows? I mean, no, please. I don't think. No. I just think that it's not.
Don't insult our intelligence.
I don't think it's right. I just think it's not. It's important that I make, Alfred, it's important that I make the statement that I don't think is right. We wish the secretary to the president good recovery, and we pray that the Lord would restore him back to good health. But I don't think that is right, that when we're having a conversation that does not even matter, and you try to intertwine him in all of these conversations, that if you have more money and you don't have health and all of those other things. We all know those things, that we are taught about those things when we're growing up. You understand that, so don't just mix it up, okay? I think that it's important that I let you know. I didn't think that you would repeat that statement here. So I mean, for me, Alfred, those would be my statements on the fight against illegal mining. But the president, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is very much clear in his mind that government is going to attend to these issues.
Well, but if all of these interventions you outlined are working, as you outlined them, as government has put in place, why are we at this point of the crisis we're faced with this illegal mining? And I showed you all the river bodies that have been polluted as a result of illegal mining, the forest cover that we have lost as a result of illegal mining, and then also these forest reserves we are losing as a result of illegal mining. So if all these measures are in place and are working, why are we at this crisis point?
You know, Alfred, you see, in governance is a collective responsibility, you understand? Governance, like we know it in school, is for the people and by the people. It's an entire collective responsibility of everyone that is involved. And we are where we are because of certain irresponsibility by other people that are involved in the acts, which is why we have been raging this war. And it's a war that is not won yet until we see that the water is clean, until we see that it's free of the cyanide, until we see that it is free of the mercury. And so we shouldn't make it a partisan issue. It's a nationalistic issue, and we must be able to treat it as such.
And rightly so, I don't think it's been made partisan as to the conversation we're having now. What I wanted to find out is if all these measures have been put in place and they're working, why are we at this crisis point?
Alfred, all I'm trying to say is that these measures have been put in place. We are in a crisis. The measures are still being implemented so that we can be able to get out of the crisis. Like I said, it doesn't take a day or two to be able to resolve the canker that has been ongoing in this Fourth Republic from 1992. It takes a lot more time to be able to resolve these issues, and that's why our government is trying to attend to these issues now.
Alfred, I want to clarify something before. Yeah, I mean, I don't believe in the bogus practice of politics of equalization. Okay, and I wouldn't sit here and allow people to twist whatever I've said in a manner that suits them. I mean, if you don't have much to say, don't harp on my well-intentioned, post or utterance that I've made or discussion that I'm making on this platform. I'm telling you this, okay? You guys were the ones who were ridiculing Atamils about his health. You don't know the relationship I have with Bidietu. You don't know. Okay, when I heard that he was not well, I prayed for him. And then I was seeking to make a generalized position, a point that, look, I'm sure he has all the resources. Okay, but if you are not well, how will you be able to enjoy it? So I use that to make the point that those of you who are saying we should stop fighting against Galamsey because there's going to be elections, you may be able to win the power today. And then you may be able to get all the resources today. But if you don't have health, if you don't have life, then you cannot even enjoy what you have. And I think this is all that I sought to say. And so let us not twist it to look like you are politicized or you are making a mockery of somebody's health. Okay? When you guys were ridiculing the health of Atamels, we didn't like it. And I'll be the last person to also use somebody's health issue to make mockery of someone because of his health issue. I won't do that. Everybody knows I don't do that.
I'm glad you are closer to Bidietu. He's my brother.
Okay.
He's my big brother.
Okay.
Yes.
So
the
point is this. The point is this. Don't twist it just to be able to make. There are important issues on this platform that we are making. You don't have much to say there. But if you don't have much to say about those issues,
what I have to say, I've made that. I've made my statements very clear.
Don't twist it. Don't twist it.
I have much to say. I've made my statement.
Make a point as if
I've made my
we are making mockery of with somebody's health. I won't do that.
I'm glad.
Daryl Bosu is a Deputy National Director of Arocha, Ghana. It's an environmental NGO. Daryl, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Alfred, and good morning to everyone on the panel. And it's really happy to be here.
And a quick one, and before I come to Honorable Samuel Blackwood, I know you've been doing some work as well in these mining communities with respect to community mining. It's one of the interventions that Dr. Pagre Boachidankwa talks about that has been put in place, and it's actually working to address this issue of illegal mining. Is the community mining scheme the solution to this illegal mining as we're faced with now, from what you do know?
Thank you, Alfred. And I think it's a good question to ask. More like, is it a panacea to the challenges? And I must say that the problem with our mining regime is not whether you break it further down to allow people to even mine in their rooms or to allow people to mine on their own individual farms. That is not what it's about. It's not further decentralizing or breaking it down. That is not the problem. Our biggest problem as a country and with the mining regime that we have in Ghana is the absence of compliance and also the related responsibility for whoever is mining to reclaim and restore the areas that they work. Our mining regime is clearly lacking compliance because, first of all, even with respect to how the concessions are given, the authorities that give the concessions, the Minerals Commission, has not got any limitations or boundaries. For as long as there's mineral anywhere, they believe that it is inevitable, it must be assessed, which is very unfortunate. And I think that as a country that also has other essential needs, like water, food, and all of that. You cannot deliberately have a mindset that because my gold is found anywhere in this country, we have to go for it. So that's why I think that our mining regime lacks some sort of prudence, and also lacks some level of limitation and boundary, which is very critical to any sustainable use of resource. And that is one major aspect. Now, secondly, when they give out the concessions and the mining and the permits, they themselves do not even have sufficient capacity to deploy and make sure that the requisite operations and operations that are supposed to be done on the site are adhered to. So you go to the site and you see, whether it is community mining, small scale mining, or whatever, you see people doing what they are not supposed to do. You have miners working in areas that is not the indicated mining area, or even you have miners diverting rivers and polluting them. And then they also don't have any regime or any mechanism for restoring or even making sure that they don't release the pollutants back into the environment. And that is a very big problem we are facing now. So you have a situation where we say we are doing community mining, we'll go to the ground, and people are really not doing what they do. So for me, it has not brought any relief. It has only made it more accessible for people to be able to mine. But the question also is that how is the mining being done? And how did they even get the concession? And who even has that concession? If you look at the intention behind community mining, the fact that community people are mining, so let's give them an opportunity to benefit from the resource on their own land, that is not what we are seeing when it comes to community mining. The people who own the concessions are all most of the time connected to the party or the government, and they decide where you can mine and where you cannot, and they go for the concessions. And that's why we've had instances where, even though we say community mining, there are cases where communities say we don't want the mining, but the state will find a way to impose it upon them. So that is also another major issue there. Then we have the issue where there's no responsibility. When they mine, a lot of them don't even reclaim the land. They leave the area as it is, they move on, and there's no long-term plan to restore this. And that is how come you see a lot of our rivers and a lot of our forest reserves, a lot of our people's farmlands being taken over. And the other thing is that there's no supervision, there's no enforcement. So you go to places, everybody is mining, you ask them, what are you doing? I'm doing community mining. How true is that? And it's very difficult to find. So I think this doesn't mean that the fact that you make it community mining, it solves the problem. The problem is still there. So I think we need to be very careful with thinking that decentralizing mining and making sure that people can even mine right in their own homes and on their own farmlands, it will make it better. It doesn't solve the problem.
Well, Darrell, thank you for this input. And they have been doing quite some work on this community mining scheme. That based on what they have seen on the ground, that's the verdict they give to this intervention. But the last time you were here, you made reference to a publicly available document with respect to the number of mining licenses, small-scale mining licenses issued between 2008 to date. That is the Ghana Mining Repository. In fact, if you, for our viewers and our listeners, if you go on Google, just type Ghana Mining Repository. Don't go there. This information about how many mining licenses have been issued over the period is there. What's the update to this? Because the last time I checked, over 1,600 thereabout mining licenses had been issued between 2017 and now, correct?
Correct. I decided to mine deeper into the database provided openly. It's open source by the Ghana Mining Repository. So I went as far back as 1988, the data provided. And between 1988 and 2008, we have 96 licenses issued, only 96.
1988 to 2008.
96
mining licenses.
As compared to 1,503 under the Akufo-Addo administration. Now, Palgrave talks about the fact that there is an advantage in licensing people in the space because it makes them responsible. he would have been right if that is what has happened on the ground. So you cannot go on this licensing spree. Total recklessness in terms of the licensing regime. Because you see, licensing must come necessarily with your capacity to monitor. We heard the expert talk about the lack of compliance in the field, the lack of supervision. So when you are issuing these licenses, like there's no tomorrow, what is the capacity, particularly of the Minerals Commission, of the Environmental Protection Agency, to make sure that these people you are granting licenses to comply, follow the rules? What is even your staffing strength? Have you employed people? Have you opened offices across the country where this mining is taking place? To be able to make sure, because you see, human beings as we are, if there is really no supervision, and people believe they will get away if they engage in irresponsible mining, if they enter forest areas, if they mine in our river bodies, which is not allowed under Ghanaian law. If they know that they will do all of this without reclaiming the lands, and the authorities don't have the capacity to be around, to be there, to supervise, then what is the sense in engaging in all of this massive issuance of licenses? But you see, Alfred, you have not heard the worst. Let me reveal to you this morning that, to my shock, and I'm sure many Ghanaians will be shocked this morning, particularly organized labor, to my shock, whilst the president was meeting organized labor that same day, will you believe that new licenses were being issued for these companies to start mining that same day, the 3rd of October?
Are you saying that just today is the 5th? So
yes,
what?
3rd October, 2 days ago, 11 new licenses to companies. Shocking. And this data is available on the Ghana Mining Repository. And I'm going to go through the companies.
I see.
Whilst the meeting was going on, 11 companies were issued with licenses to start mining on the 3rd of October.
11 companies.
11. And they are Rich Land Mining and Trading Enterprise, Confidence Mining Enterprise, Grade Mining Enterprise, Ajobia Mining Enterprise, Techimresu Mining Enterprise, Precious Awudu Mining Enterprise, Internal Mining Enterprise, certainly internal affairs, a lot of internal shenanigans. Ajobia Mining, Techimresu Mining Enterprise, Osagyefo Aba Mining and Trading Enterprise. Very interesting names. Osagyefo Aba Mining and Trading Enterprise. And Adikanfo Titifo Mining and Trading Enterprise. 11 of them. And that same day was the president
on the 3rd of
at
October.
a time that everybody is saying that suspend this issuance of licenses. We want a ban on all forms of mining. We want a state of emergency. At the time that there is all of this upheaval, hue and cry by the Ghanaian people. As we speak, people are being held in prison cells unconstitutionally, in flagrant violation of Article 296, abuse of discretionary power, high-handedness, Gestapo arrests, people who had even no business with the demonstration. Some of them innocent bystanders. Some of them held even beyond 48 hours. The police has admitted. Total violation of the Constitution, abuse of office, flagrant violation of human rights. Even those who are demonstrating in solidarity of these people, look at the number of police personnel deployed. I ask myself, the bad guys, I call them mass murderers. These mass murderers who are hell-bent on killing all of us. I heard the Ochihini a few days ago say that he has seen the deformities himself. Babies are being born with deformities in his area. We know that the dangers to our health, cancer, liver disease, kidney failure, and all of that.
And you are saying that...
And these security personnel are not interested in the bad guys. They have left the Galamsey sites. I have been there. I'm doing a lot of oversight there. No security. They are having a field day, the bad guys, those destroying river bodies. And it is rather the good guys standing up against Galamsey. I am so upset this morning that as a nation, look, it's a scar on the conscience of all of those in authority who are doing this to these young people, violating their rights, mutilating their human rights in this manner. And yet, whilst the president pays lip service, look, in this country, what have governance experts, constitutional lawyers said? Have they all not agreed, all the experts, I added them, that under the 1992 Constitution of Ghana, the president of Ghana has too much power? Look at what is happening to the demonstrators. Is that not we have all agreed? That the president has too much power. See what is happening. Ama Governor, Felicity, Vamawo, and others. Look at what is happening to them. President has too much power. Everybody is pandering to him. That's what he wants. See what the president did to Dom Level. See how the president is appointing MPP hacks into the judiciary. Known partisan hatchet men and women. Look at what the president has done to the Electoral Commission. Apia Hini, the known MPP foot soldier. So all of us have agreed in this country that the president has too much power. How come when it comes to the president doing right by us, saving our lives, stopping this mass murder, suddenly he has no power? Listen to my brother, Dr. Palgrave. Oh, you know, it's not easy. We have to meet stakeholders. We will need time. Suddenly, a president who has so much power, who everybody, he himself, admitted in opposition, that this constitution gives our presidents so much power. Look, I put out a 15-point action plan that any president who has the country at heart doesn't need to be calling these meetings. I agree with Professor Jampo. Those meetings are totally needless and worthless, useless. Let me go through my 15-point plan very quickly.
But even before we don't, but you're saying that on the 3rd of October, which was 2 days ago, this document is online.
It's online. Go into the Ghana Mining Repository.
Ghana Mining Repository.
Most scandalous. When Ghanaians...
Whilst they were meeting with
Whilst they were meeting with you, 11 companies were... I have, 3rd October 2024.
11 licenses were issued.
11 licenses. And they said they should start mining immediately. Start date is yes, start date. Go on the Mining Repository website. Start date, 3rd October 2024. Western region, Central region. It's all there. Sekendi Takoradi district. 11 companies. And then in September, whilst organized labor put out their ultimatum, are you aware that another 12 licenses, they asked them to start? 25th September 2024, Asekro Mining Enterprise, New Procedure Mining Enterprise, Kingdom Royal Mining Enterprise, Top Notch Mining Enterprise, RY Goldfields Limited, Bezaz Limited, Bay Logistics Limited, Chirano Gold Mines, all of them, FG Minerals Limited. They have all been given new leases, new mining licenses, all of them.
Because Chirano has been in for
yes, but they have a new one now in the Western North area, also for gold mining. They received theirs 18th September. So whilst all of this is going on, Omuntijai, they can't be bothered. They don't care. So why will anybody be attending these meetings? And look, this is such a betrayal. So President calls people, let's meet, let's discuss this matter. And you can't even have a stalemate. You can't tell your lands minister, stop approving these licenses. You can't tell Minerals Commission that, look, we are in a crisis. At least when you are in a crisis, you stop digging so that we don't die. You want to at least make an intervention. At least let there be a stalemate. At least suspend the issuance of these licenses. Will you believe that? So 23, since organized labor issued their statement and their ultimatum, from that period to 3rd October 2024, 23 new licenses.
It was just 2 days ago.
Can you believe that? And I have done some more work. I'm sorry I'm causing people a lot of anxiety and making them lose appetite this morning. Will you believe that more DCs are joining the fray?
You mean DCs?
Latest work I have done on this matter. DCs are now openly registering companies and going for mining licenses themselves.
Which DCs are those?
The DC for Impoho, on the 18th of October 2023, registered JK Sem Mining Company Limited. JK Sem. JK Sem. Immediately, on the 17th of November, he applied to mine in his district. And it's here. Go on the mining repository. You see JK Sem.
So you're talking about Ignatius Asa Mensa? Ignatius
Asa Mensa, the DC for Impoho. And I have the cadastral map here. You see, you see river bodies, forests all over in the area of interest, his concession. Guess what? Whilst all of this is going on, he has been asked to start mining 9th August 2024. That's the start date. 9th August 2024. And he has a 5-year lease. JK Sem, Honorable Ignatius Asa Mensa, the DC for Impoho. The people, this is the chair of DISEC, the people who we are relying on to ban all forms of mining. That is the demand by organized labor, by the Catholic Bishop Conference, by the Apostolic Fathers, by the Chief Imam, everybody. The people we are counting on to ban all forms of mining, they are joining the fray like there's no tomorrow. They are registering companies, and they are being issued licenses, and now they are doing it themselves directly, openly. That is not all. I decided to dig deeper. Then I discovered that Honorable Frederick Crunchy, MCE for Amenfi East, he hasn't heard all the things going on Tijai, on T. He can't be bothered. He also registers Kofreze Construction Limited, Kofreze. Kofreze. I hope I'm pronouncing it well. Yeah. Kofreze Construction. And when you go on the Ghana Mining Repository, he has also been issued a license in his area, Wassa Amenfi East. The people who are to protect, head of DISEC. And he is to start mining. Indeed, he has started mining since the 21st of March, 2024. The Honorable Frederick Crunchy, MC for Amenfi East. So, you see what is going on?
Okay.
The president is not cracking the whip. They are pampering those who are involved. We've talked about Woon to me. You remember the Minerals Commission issued a statement. The Lands Minister issued a statement that Woon to me was not licensed to go into the Inrim forest. Yet nothing happened to him. We were told that there was some investigation going on. Nothing has happened. So, are you surprised? More and more of the president's appointees are joining the fray.
And where is the source? What's the source of this document you are putting out?
Go on the Ghana Mining Repository and look for Kofreze Construction and Engineering Limited. And then you can make a formal application to the Office of the Registrar of Companies for who the directors are, who the owners of these companies are.
Yes, because we haven't independently checked, so I just need
to... Yes. So these are my sources, official sources. So look at the crisis we are in. At a time where we face an existential threat, President invites organized labor to a meeting, and 11 new licenses that same day. Go and start mining when people are calling for an overall ban. of all forms of mining. Then you go into the companies who are being given latest licenses, and you see heads of DISECs, the district security councils, the municipal metropolitan security councils, the people we are relying on to stop the menace. They are neck deep. And then you see, Palgrave was talking about economic benefits. Look, there can be no economic benefit that can equate one human life. No economic benefit. No economic benefit. Look, if all the monies we have received, look at how much came in from COVID. They don't talk about the COVID windfall. Billions of Ghana cedis. That didn't save our economy. We are bankrupt, we are insolvent, we have been downgraded by all the sovereign rating agencies, from Fitch to Standard & Poor's to Moody's. We have, for the first time in our history, forced even pensioner bondholders to take a haircut. Everybody is taking a haircut. Even if you are as bad as me, you are forced to take a haircut. So, economic quagmire, despite all our resources. So, it is not a matter of money coming in. In any case, I did some work on the other notorious company, Elite Minerals Company Limited, owned by the same presidential daughter's ambulance cabal. Elite Minerals is owned by Awo Mensah, who is a business partner to Edwina Akufo-Addo. They set up Insiom Nam. And Alvin Mensah, who is another business partner of the president's daughters. You know, remember I exposed them in the infamous ambulance procurement scandal, in the $34.9 million ambulance spare parts scandal. I discovered that the same cabal is neck deep in this mining crisis. I decided to intercept their tax obligations. I have a copy here. And over the last 3 years, they have made, I'll give you a copy you can be perusing. These are the intercepted tax payer ledgers, the tax records of Elite Minerals Company Limited, the company associated with the president's daughters. Now, over the last 2.5 years, they have made 53 million cedis, and all they have paid, according to tax record, and if you notice, from 2021, they were always, you know, defaulting, they won't pay, GRA has to find them, write to them. You see that, you see that in the documents, it's all there. Reluctantly, they have paid only 132,000 Ghana cedis. Can you believe that? Despite all the, and it's in flagrant violation of our laws, how much mining companies must pay. So these companies are not even paying their fair share. So there's penalty of some 1,000? Yes, many penalties, very notorious company. Okay. Notorious, and the impunity. And you see, if anybody tells you that these companies, look, companies that will not be compliant, that would mine in water bodies, will be so reckless, they clearly will not even pay taxes. They will be evasive when it comes to their tax obligations. So look, let us be very clear. Okay. We are where we are because of official complicity. The work, the oversight work that we have done, it is clear that there is no commitment. No commitment. I made reference to the 15-point action plan that I reflected on and said that, look, if you have a Ghanaian president with so much power, as we have all admitted, I said, one, the first thing that any president committed to this fight, to show goodwill, good faith, would do, one, instruct the Attorney General and the IGP to discontinue the unconstitutional harassment of all anti-Galamsey protesters. That's the first thing any president who cares about the people will do. Two, sack all regional ministers who have failed to prevent Galamseys as chairs of their respective regional security councils. Three, sack all MMDCs who have failed to stop Galamsey as heads of their respective municipal, metropolitan, and district security councils. It's because of not sacking them. That is why others are joining the fray. at the DC for Impoho and Amenfi East and all of that. 4, reshuffle the ministers responsible for lands and natural resources, environment, science and technology, innovation, national security, defense and the interior, and various agency heads under them, such as the EPA and the Minerals Commission. 5, recall all police commanders and national security operatives in Galamsey enclaves. Have you seen the footage from Enyinem? There's Galamsey going on right behind the police station at Enyinem.
We'll show some of those videos in a bit.
Right behind the police station. And all these police commanders are still at post. Impose a 5-year ban on all forms of small-scale mining, not to be issuing licenses. You call labor, oh, come for meeting. Whilst they are at the meeting, you are busy issuing licenses. Then 7, deploy the Ghana Armed Forces to protect our river bodies and forests under a new paradigm which eliminates political partisan control. That is what Professor Jampo was talking about the top military official who spoke to him. If you deploy them and say that, look, this is a professional, do your work as celebrated Ghana Armed Forces, acclaimed across the world. No political interference. You will see. He was talking about a day. Within hours, all these folks will run out of the place. And in a few hours, this Galamsey threat will be over. 8, immediately stop the issuance of new mining licenses. 9, carry out a shake-up at Ghana's embassy in China and put in place an extremely strict criteria for the issuance of Ghanaian visas to Chinese nationals. 10, launch an aggressive scientific Green Ghana program to restore and regenerate our river bodies, embark on massive afforestation and reclamation of all Galamsey lands. 11, provide free comprehensive medical screening and treatment for all Ghanaians affected and exposed to the health dangers. We are talking about all these people suffering diseases, deformities and all of that. Who is taking care of them? Who is looking out for them? 12, impose hefty fines on these small-scale mining companies who have violated our responsible mining laws and use these funds for environmental regeneration, public health assistance, and water treatment support. 13, agree on a roadmap to ensure that after the 5-year environmental recovery ban, all small-scale mining is prohibited so that we use only a state-owned company which will make sure they employ locals from those communities and totally prohibit private small-scale mining by private companies. Right? 14, the state-owned company will then ensure that only locals from those communities are engaged under competitive working conditions. Then, finally, revoke LI 2462 and pass new legislation under a certificate of agency to make it illegal for politicians and any other person to engage in the advocacy and promotion of Galamsey and impose stiff sanctions for this, for all those caught violating the law. I mean, what is difficult about this? For such a powerful president under the 1992 Constitution, which creates this imperial monarchy, this all-powerful president. Right. You are telling me that you are now, with all of this national security apparatus, all these accoutrements, all these weapons, this armory, you control the police, you control the armed force, you are commander-in-chief, you are helpless. You suddenly don't have power, but you have power to be harassing and intimidating people and descending on innocent, harmless demonstrators. Now I must conclude with my revulsion, utter disgust. I am totally appalled by the statements that leading politicians are making in this fight. They clearly don't get it. My colleague in Parliament, I mean, hitherto I had so much respect for him. Dr. Ayua Free, chairman of the Health Committee. The irony.
Oh, he's an MP too.
Member of Parliament for Efidasi Asukori. Chairman of the Health Committee. The Health Committee actually should be convening. He should be convening a crisis health committee meeting in Parliament. I would have loved to attend even as a friend of the committee because I'm not a member of the Health Committee. To look at the crisis that medical doctors, public health practitioners are talking about. Then you say that you will not ban Galamsey today or tomorrow. And then you are seeking to engage in cheap partisanship. That it is we in the NDC who have imported people and told them that go into the rivers. That's where we want you to mine. And you are a government.
You didn't do anything.
A government. You are advertising your incompetence, your ineptitude. You couldn't stop these nation wreckers and arrest them. It is rather, I'm a governor. Bakavomawo, Felicity. They are the ones you have arrested. But the bad guys, the NDC brought, you say they brought, you couldn't arrest them. And you are standing on a platform advertising such crass incompetence. And you see, what is even more shocking, Alfred, we have to speak the truth in this country. What is this man's designation? What gave him the capacity to go make this bold declaration? He is Bawumia's Middle Belt campaign coordinator. How come, as we speak, Bawumia has not distanced himself from his campaign coordinator? He hasn't fired him. Shocking. Does Bawumia endorse those statements? Was he speaking on behalf of Bawumia? And this is the second time. I saw another video by your network. Mreku Duka, who is Bawumia's coordinator for mining. And those who know Mreku Duka very well were shocked when they heard the announcement. I won't say more. But in that video, saying he endorses Galamsey.
Well, he said that the call for a ban on small-scale mining.
Yeah. And Galamsey
it's not one that has been well thought through, and it's going to have far-reaching consequences.
And Bawumia was
not
sitting,
endorsing illegal mining.
Bawumia was sitting there. Bawumia was sitting there. Bawumia was there. And all of these people who are key elements, chief architects of the Bawumia campaign, have not been sanctioned. What does that say about Bawumia and the fight against Galamsey? What does that say? Look, you recall in the United States of America, when the Americans said that, look, President Obama's pastor, they don't like his sermons. He's very divisive. He's inciting the people. He's incendiary and all of that. The Obamas issued a statement to distance themselves. When it continued, they issued another statement that they have even stopped attending the church. They won't go again. Please, Americans, please forgive us. We won't go again. That is decent leadership. Respect for the people. These people are rather being hailed and being supported. Then there is the other statement by Gideon Boako. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Bawumia's spokesperson, Gideon Boako, puts up a post which says, hypocrisy is when we gloss over the polluted Odo River and Kole Lagoon in Accra, but demonstrate over a polluted Pra or Tano River outside Accra. Can you believe this? Calling all of us, organized labor, all these eminent bishops and everybody, hypocrites, because we haven't seen the Odo River. Hey, what's happening in this country? Then the worst one has come from Richard Ahiagba. As for the Asante Akim South MP, who says we will lose our seats if we impose a ban, I think that he should be just ignored. I mean, seats. So political power is more important than human lives. I need to talk about Richard Ahiagba's post. Because,
in a minute.
Because that is most offensive. Richard Ahiagba, the MPP communication director, posted this. Is it true that the leadership of organized labor received 400,000 Ghana cedi donation from the NDC? If it is true, is organized labor raising funds for anything? If yes, have they approached other political parties for donations? If organized labor is not raising funds, what informed the NDC's donation? How is the NDC's donation related to organized labor's sudden anti-Galamsey advocacy? Can you believe that? Sudden anti-Galamsey advocacy. And the subsequent declaration of a nationwide strike. Is it a mere coincidence, or is there more to it? I would vouch for organized labor, but that won't be enough because it smells fishy. Galamsey is a menace. Let's not politicize the fight to defeat. Can you believe that? That all of this, look at Professor Jampo. Where will you even dare attempt The TUC Secretary General. 400,000 for all these people, the eminent bishops, clergy, all of them, to go and share. 400,000.
That is cheap.
Okay. No respect for the Ghanaian people.
Samuel Okuja to Black and let me just ask this again. These issues you mentioned, information you have that they have registered.
Oh yes, I have that.
This information.
From the office of the Registrar of Companies, I have the articles of incorporation here. All the incorporation documents are here. I'll give you copies.
Okay, and it's on the mining repository.
And their companies are captured at the Ghana Mining Repository for having received licenses to mine. And when you go to the areas, we've done the cadastral mapping. You see river bodies there. There are forests there.
We'll check We'll check it.
What is going on in this country?
And also do our own verification here as well, because we haven't independently checked.
Commit mass murder to just kill us.
Thank you. Samuel Okuja Tua Blackwell is Member of Parliament for the North Tongue constituency. I would need that, and I'll show you these rivers that we've. In fact, one of our viewers who is a forestry commission officer sent us this. Just on the screen there. The Tano River, let's flip to the next. And Ankobra, as we see it, all these areas. And we'll be back shortly after this quick break. Lawyer Martin Pebu will have a take on this matter because he's serving as legal counsel for some of these protesters who have been arrested as well. And Samuel Okuja Tua Blackwell is a North Town Member of Parliament. He is also the chair of the Government Assurances Committee and the chief interceptor. The number of things that he's intercepted has also been putting out this morning. A number of your messages have some documents to share with you as well on the next issue. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly.
Phoenix Club, uplifting women. Phoenix Club, uplifting women. Phoenix Club, uplifting women. Thank you very much for having me here today. The nation builder John Mahama and Professor Nana Jane are bringing you the Women's Development Bank. It is a very special bank run by only women, to serve only women. The aim is to empower millions of women across the country. The bank will have branches all over the nation to provide you with loans with very low interest and on very flexible terms.
Madam, I run a small makeup and nail bar. Do I qualify for a loan?
No need to bother, my sister. I mean hairdressers, market women, women-owned online businesses, female graduates, women in the corporate world, traders, agri, women in all fields qualify for loans. With John Mahama and Professor Nana Jane at the helm, the Ghanaian woman will surely rise.
Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
In a place where conviction meets compassion, Heritage Christian University College stands tall, shaping futures and societies. Here, creativity isn't just a concept, it's the fuel for social change. But it's not just about entrepreneurship, it's about nurturing a spirit of service and community. We instill in our students the values of leadership and giving back. Our graduates don't just earn degrees, they embody entrepreneurship, philanthropy, ethics, and global competence. Heritage is where innovation thrives amidst a serene environment, offering unparalleled experiences. Come, be part of our journey where creativity and community unite to shape a better tomorrow. Heritage Christian University College, educating compassionate entrepreneurial leaders.
The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luckiest everywhere.
8K. Hey, you get an 8K. Get a packing so you have to one lie. Hey, wait.
You can put it on his tab. This is my man.
Good luck. Hey, Bill, ready? We are star 712. It's much more phone. I'm on dialing the magic numbers. Star 712. Now welcome to the luckiest. And I'm with me at home ticket. You can buy for yourself or your loved one.
Mommy, tell mommy who's here.
You're buying for me, right?
Or who else?
Oh.
Let's choose buy tickets for others.
Love you, boo boo.
So maybe straight to option 4. Now, you need to buy tickets worth 50 Ghana to qualify. Yes, you can buy random or preferred tickets. I'm choosing random tickets. Listen, if you buy the random ticket, the system chooses a random number for you. But if you buy the preferred, you get to input your own preferred 5 digits. 5.
Baby, give me your 5 numbers.
And how much are we buying?
Babe, look at the body and buy you.
With your body,
Hey,
there, tread cautiously. Now follow the prompts and confirm. Now the luckiest.
The Luckiest is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform, not for persons below 18 years. TNCs apply.
This is the show that brings finality to all the critical issues. It is the stage where all the facts are checked, issues thoroughly interrogated, opinions shaped, and debates settled. But over here, we do more than just talk. We resolve problems. We hold those in power accountable. We address all the key happenings in society, from politics to health to education to everything you deem important. And we will center the voice of the ordinary Ghanaian. This is the show that sets the agenda.
Agenda shows Mondays at 3 p.m. on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
You've got one of the biggest songs this year already.
Hard hit. Peter Antonium. Yeah, Antonium. Peter Antonium.
This man started using drag in 72. Where were you? Fans be brave. Europe, Niamano, Nioma, France, one better. Oh, Mempo.
Showbiz 360 shows every Saturday at 8 p.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by
Betway. Winner big.
Cowbell Coffee.
Enedie, mighty power. This is haputi.
Na ka me prayer topic on erade ma me ko delay shows. E bon paya.
It's a me bad delay. I mean Ghana nyina ye delay no. So sa. E ha na oba interview ana chese wo ye adru.
Me da sim ka just say I'll come on your show.
Me kai pa.
Fe me ma me ka chen say na me ko delay shows so ka chen say ye erade na dia me be yewu.
Say.
Delay ma show na me chese. E di na be bia kodro no. Say your friend wa ma.
Delay show is like the apex. Into one master, the answer being CI or carrier. As when you are GB.
The Delay Show is brought to you by Telecel, Yas Sanitary Pad, Nasco, Betway, Gino, Pepsodent, Delay Foods, Tabia Takum.
The Delay Show, Sunday at 6 p.m. on TV3.
This Sunday on Hot Issues.
Why should the Ghanaian people choose you and the CPP?
We have wasted our lives by voting for these two parties.
Is there justification for an audit of the voter register?
To ask an external person at this critical moment and this time to come and audit, I don't see the reason why. The moment I take the oath, there's a halt on any illegal mining.
Do you think that Dr. Kwame Nkrumah will be happy with the CPP of today?
I believe that Dr. Kwame Nkrumah will be very miserable with Ghana of today.
Hot Issues shows Sundays at 2 p.m. on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
The agency and how difficult the situation is. And in fact, including mercury that you find in the water, lead and other stuffs like that are found. And these affect our children. In fact, our mothers, the pregnant women, when they take this in, because not for mercury and other, especially mercury, it just evaporates. So when the people are dealing with the gold, it just go into, they inhale it. And I must say that to some extent, maybe we have an idea, but we do not have much idea of what we are going to face in the near future regarding this galamsey. In fact, I must say that some of them we think because we are in Accra. In fact, you have roughly about 5 river systems in this country, and all the river systems are almost gone. One of the biggest we have that seem untouched is the Volta Basin. And even in the Volta Basin, they've started mining in the black Volta and in the white Volta.
Welcome back to Key Point on TV3. We're live on 3FM 92.7, also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, and DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. And let that sink in. Almost all our water systems are gone. That's the existential threat that we're faced with as we speak as a result of illegal mining. We're live on 3FM 92.7 and a number of radio stations across the country. Lawyer Martin Pebo is here, and I just wanted to quickly give us a quick update on the persons, these Democracy Hub protesters, 53 of them, who are in the police and prison custody as we speak. We do know that the 32 of them have dragged the IGP and the Attorney General to the Human Rights Court. What's the latest with the issues as we speak?
Yes, so the last court sitting was on Wednesday, right? You know, so that one involved 9 of the protesters who were supposed to have their bail application heard because they sought to abridge the time. That's to say, move the time forward instead of waiting till the 8th of October. On Wednesday, the Wednesday 2nd October, they were supposed to move the application, but some technical issues came up because the court said they hadn't been able to furnish the court with a record of the proceedings. That's to say what happened, what transpired in the circuit court. That's Justice Kwabena Kodua Obri Yebue's court. So because of that, the judge couldn't, Justice Tasiame, she couldn't hear the bail application and also the motion to abridge the time. So it's been adjourned to Monday. Well, Monday is still one day shorter than Tuesday if. So let's hope that Monday they get bail. But what's the sad aspect of it, the travesty of justice that happened on that day is the fact that if the application, once the proceedings, that's to say what happened in Justice Obri Yebue's court was not ready, I didn't see anything wrong with making an order for the registrar of the High Court to go down to the Circuit Court for the book, the original book. It's done all the time. Right. That if something needs to be done, the book, you can't get the proceedings ready, or sometimes the higher court wants to verify what is actually written in the handwriting of the judge. They ask for the original, considering that we've all agreed as a nation that personal liberties are priceless, right? Yes, that's in Table number 4 versus Attorney General number 4. That's why the Supreme Court held that 48 hours is 48 hours. Right. It doesn't matter whether you have a Saturday, Sunday, public holiday, or even a strike happening, right? So in the spirit of that, I would have expected that the court would agree that, look, send the registrar, go and bring the book, so that the judge would have been able to ascertain what Justice Obri Yebua wrote in the Circuit Court, and then the proceedings will go on. Because you see, even now, the Attorney General, out of the backlash and everything, you see that he's made a U-turn now saying that at the next sitting, he's not opposed to bail. So once the Attorney General even now is saying he's not opposed to bail, I think that that should have been done. We should make it a proper practice direction that in circumstances like this. So there's no reason why if the judge calls the case at, let's say, 9 a.m. and this book is not ready, we cannot stand down the case. So by 11, 12, whatever it takes, let's give meaning. Let's give meaning to the statement that personal liberties are priceless. Let's give meaning, because what took place on Wednesday doesn't give meaning to that statement. Can you imagine? And from Wednesday 2nd, then the case was adjourned to Monday 7th. We've not given meaning to the principle that personal liberties are priceless. No, we've not. What happened in court doesn't give that meaning at all. That should be the last time that this thing should happen. The The circuit court to the High Court is less than 1 kilometer. Yes, you just walk around 10 minutes walk. You'll be in the circuit court. Ask for the book. Ask for the book. The judges, the record book. Take it back to the High Court. Then they will read it. What does it take? Let's give meaning to the principle that personal liberties are priceless. And I like what Angel Kabunu stated the first day of the arrest. That as a society, we have failed these heroes, these protesters. The way we are reacting, yes, we've been coming here, we've been making statements. It's not sufficient. Not sufficient. We are not giving meaning. Must be done. Yes, this thing that because the record of proceedings is not ready, from Wednesday 2nd, we adjourn to Monday 7th October.
And they still remain in custody?
Yes. No. Please, as a society, the judicial system too needs to be up and doing. We can't
You advocated for some reform as a result of
this.
We
can't do that. Yes.
Because this should not be treated as an event.
Yes.
It's
a total failure of the judicial system.
So what reforms should be sent to be put in place?
Complete failure. Yes, that, look, CJ Tokunu, we beg you, have a practice direction on it. Because I know in the past, I've seen it in the Court of Appeal, even Supreme Court, where you want something in the High Court, it's not ready. And even sometimes something has been typed, there are doubts. The court will order that bring the book, bring the judge's record book from the lower court. That's what should have applied. But not to adjourn from 2nd to 7th. It doesn't add any meaning at all. It doesn't show that we are walking the talk, that personal liberties are priceless. Now, as a nation, we've been embarrassed that these are protesters who were trying to bring to the front and center Galamsey that Wuntumi did in the Tano Nimri forest. And then they rather have been slammed into cells. And Wuntumi is walking free. And IG Dampari is still waxing lyrical in office with Faustina and Okofi. And even having the temerity to fight Yohunu, you know, the deputy IG. IG is fighting Yohunu. Yes, Yohunu's boys. I've read things that policemen have written. They are out. Stories on media. I'll forward one to you. Yohunu's boys who help him, they've been transferred, 10 of them. Then Yohunu said no. Deputy IG said no, his men are not moving because those are his able lieutenants. You know, police at Yohunu's age, even at my age, you can't go everywhere. You need people to help. So Yohunu's boy, 10 of them, some Upper East region, Northeast, so many, I have them here on my,
we'll check that.
So, and then eventually IG is interdicted 2 of them. The police service, oh no, there's a lot of turmoil. People are not happy. Because Yohunu is your deputy. Can you just get up and take your deputy's lieutenants and just transfer them without recourse to your deputy? Why? Why would you do that? So those are the kind of things that are happening. Personal aggrandizement, just holding on to office. IG Dampari is not even remorseful for what he has done to these heroes. That he slammed these guys into custody and still gave information to Attorney General that they are still doing investigations, and that led to Justice Obiri Ebua and Justice Evelyn Asamoah denying our heroes bail. So that as a nation, now, people who sought to fight for us, we've capitalized on alleged misdemeanors, thrown them into custody, and Wuntumi, who has degraded the Tano Nimri forest to the size of over 10 football fields. And Erasmus Asaredonko has the video of everything. We presented that to the CID boss, Faustina and Okofi, right? And then you have Superintendent Nkum playing politics. They are playing politics, politics of keeping their office, politics of pleasing the MPP so that they stay in office. Then now, you see, right, these are heroes are paying the price. This is just too bad. Wow. Too bad for us as a nation. We can't continue to run a nation like this. That the police hierarchy, Dampare and Faustina Okofi, for personal aggrandizement, sacrifice our citizens. Citizens spending time in custody. How many? 2 weeks. And of course, Dami, as for Dami's role, say, you know, it's only under Kufuor that Godfrey Dami can continue to be Attorney General. There's somebody who should have been sacked some months ago when we caught him on the Japa tape. Suborning a witness, coaching a witness to come and lie to the court, and he still has office. Only under bad Kufuor. That's what bad leadership brings.
24 after 10. This one says, good morning. This is from Dr. Tony Obeng to you. It says, I have set time without number. Dr. Tony Obeng is a former CEO of Minerals Commission. It says, I have said without number that this government has never says demonstrated commitment to address the challenges of illegal mining in Ghana. Of course, government operatives, they won't address the problems that have said it openly, that they won't do anything. Kujato Ablakwa is absolutely right indeed. For the government to grant 11 licenses when everybody is complaining only underscores the disrespect for Ghanaians. How can you stop a menace which is being caused and perpetuated by the same people causing it? There's only one solution that has to be for the Ghanaian people to decide on December 7th. This one, Alhaji Moro Shaako. Listening to Kujato Ablakwa's submission this morning, I can understand why we should not be silent about this. We must all speak up and let our voices be heard. It says not everybody can be on the streets, but we must also find other avenues of letting our voices heard. That's exactly what you have done this morning. Colonel Feso Sabwaji, retired Colonel Feso Sabwaji, good morning. It says, good morning, Alfred. Given the Chinese and other foreigners use tourist visas to enter Ghana and other African countries for all of these illegalities, the government must insist all tourists visit through tourist companies. This will enhance the regulation of foreign nationals or foreign nation records through Galamsey. Thank you very much. This one here says, good morning. Galamsey can only be stopped when images and videos of concessions of individuals and those who own them are published. You and your colleague journalists should go to the Registrar General Department and the Minerals Commission to furnish us with the almost 1,600 small and medium-scale companies that have been given concessions since 2017. This one from Mansa Musa says, good morning. Alfred, how can anyone say crisis that didn't emanate from natural cause, but rather a man-made one? How can anyone protest when it is being politicized? Just look at the border and immigration issues of the Americas. How can any politician in America say that this issue is not political? You say, thank you very much. And this one here says, Palgrave made a statement that the NPP has created alternative livelihood for Galamseyers in Galamsey areas. Please, can you ask him what they provided for those in Prestia Hone Valley? What is he saying? Jojo from Bogoso. And I know these alternative livelihoods, some of them were trained to do snail farming and so those things. So, look, I engage a lot of these mining experts who said, you are moving people who have seen money through illegal mining. They see, I interacted with some of these illegal miners in the Etiwa forest. They make sometimes as high as 5,000 and as low as 3,000 on a daily basis. Discouraging them to go and do snail farming is going to be difficult. But that was an option that was taken. This one here says, leadership must be shown. And Dr. Palgrave, let me put it on record as well. It's a lecturer at UPSA. I think I left that out. Forgive me. It's a lecturer there at UPSA. Professor Jampo, I have a minute.
I'm part of the Family and Friends government. Family and Friends.
A minute. Professor Jampo, 1 minute on this matter, because I need to...
Oh, no. So, no, on this particular matter, I think I hold a contrary view. We all don't like what has gone on, especially the political and judicial high-handedness that have been meted out to those who are demonstrating for all of us. I think it is bad. But I hold a contrary view to that of Martin trying to bring directly the IGP in this matter. On the contrary, I want to believe that if there is somebody to be held responsible, it should be the one who was surreptitiously appointed as the Director General, as the Deputy IGP in charge of operation. We have had an IGP who has managed people demonstrating, who has managed people who wanted to do things untoward in by-elections, even to the point that people had started calling for his head because he was doing too well. It's happened in Ghana. People had plotted that this guy would not help us to win an election. And for a long time, we've never made use of the Deputy IGP position. Now, suddenly, when the plot to exit him backfired, then we're told that, okay, there's a slot for Deputy IGP in charge of operation. And so I want to put the blame about the high-handedness that was meted out to these protesters to the doorstep of the deputy IGP in charge of operations, so that a sign is being sent that we brought you to also let the people know that, quote and unquote, if you misbehave, we'll teach you something.
Did you see your Udo there?
No.
Somebody was the one who came there and even ate with them. And congratulated them.
So the point is that
somebody congratulated them.
If there is deputy IG,
your Udo wasn't there.
No, please. If there is deputy, if there is deputy IG in charge of operations, I want to put the blame at his doorstep, more than the overall IGP. But let me also make this point that you see the way the judges also handled this matter. It shows a lot of abuse of, in my view, judicial discretion, and it is not good for our democracy. It is not good. But last. I want to make this point, okay? Still, I beg for permission, but I think you forgot to allow me to make that point before Martin came in. You see, the politics and the quest to say anything, okay? The politics of saying anything, the quest for political power, and by saying just anything, regardless of how nonsensical it may sound in the eyes, on the ears of the people, in my view, should be the thing of the past. It appears that now, if we want power, we just say anything, and we don't care whether it makes sense, it is nonsensical or not. Let me tell you, the days of the BJ Daruches, the days of Odoi Sykes, the days of Alajiti, the days of Ejenim Boateng, the days of even Dambochi, were marked by healthy articulation of sensible policy alternatives in their quest to seek for political power, and in a manner that deepened the outlook of the MPP tradition as an elitist party. But it appears that the party is now being led by full soldiers. Anybody gets up and they say anything, regardless of how nonsensical it may sound in the ears of people. They say it, and it is not good for them.
Professor Japo, and this Nana Kojo Crunchy. Nana Kojo Crunchy says, please let organized labor be reminded, and this is to you, let organized labor be reminded that they are the last line of defense in the fight to get the president to listen to and also have our demands met. If you heed his plea, you have failed all of us. We will forever remember that you were the ones who could have forced his hand and failed to do so. We are aware and will all be inconvenienced if you strike, but Ghana will be better off hereafter. Nana Kojo Crunchy, thank you. And I acknowledge the 2,676 of your messages that have come through on the issues talked about this morning. And while at it, I would also want to welcome, for the last lap of this conversation, one who is new to us, but going to be part of us for the longest period to come, Dr. Sharif Mahmood Khalid, Associate Professor of Accounting and Finance and member of the NDC Economic and Finance Committee. Nokujato Ablako had to leave us for an equally important commitment that he has. Doc, good morning. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now,
thanks for having me.
You monitored the IPAC meeting. Your party was there. In fact, a number of the issues that were discussed there was at the instance of you, because you raised those concerns. Now, you issued a statement afterwards, after the Finance Executive Committee meeting. We'll find out from you if you have abandoned that call for an audit, a forensic audit as yet, because I didn't see it in that statement. But let's hear from the EC Chair, Jane Adokwe-Mensah, after that IPAC meeting within the week. Take a look.
The Commission has employed tried and tested legal and administrative processes to clean the provisional register and rid it of discrepancies as envisaged by the framers of the 1992 Constitution. We can confidently state that most of the discrepancies discovered to date have been resolved. Assertions that the discrepancies in the provisional voters register are aimed or were aimed at disenfranchising voters in certain parts of the country are untrue. We have cleaned up the provisional voters register and corrected all discrepancies identified to date.
assembled here for the same purpose of getting a credible register for the 2016 elections. 9 years ago, our colleagues on the other side said, no, the register is fit for purpose. Allow the Electoral Commission to do its work. Why are you interfering in the affairs of the Electoral Commission? I think that we are repeating ourselves the same way. The issues have been fixed. The IT director has said, and we followed it, and I'm telling you that we commend you the same way the committee then commended us. But you are trying to play the catch-up. So we will leave you to your fate. What we see here is mopping and mopping and mopping. Fixing the leakage is missing. And this is at the heart of our altruistic demand for a forensic audit. This forensic audit is not just about the register. We need to adopt a dichotomous approach. Look at the register, fix the issues in there, and also audit the very IT systems that allowed these anomalies.
Well, so that's Dr. Edward Omane-Boamah there. But Dr. Khalid, so the issues were addressed at the EC. They made a presentation. Did they tick the boxes for you to not go ahead and continuously demand for this forensic audit?
No, we are still hell-bent on the forensic audit, as you'll see. What happened at the IPAC meeting just triggered the process for us to entrench our position, right, in reference to the forensic audit. But it's interesting to see Peter McMahon acting as a spokesperson of the EC at the IPAC meeting, saying that the issues have been fixed. So now that's a tacit acknowledgement that they were indeed issues. When they were on their high horses shouting that they were not issues. Today, McMahon, who is leading them at IPAC, is tacitly admitting that the issues have been fixed. So which issues have been fixed? And since when has he become a spokesperson to the Electoral Commission? But you see, fundamentally, I can see a sober Jane Mensah in this scenario. But that is quite interesting. For me, what worries me a great deal about her posturing since taking up this office is that her sacrificial life, her bread and butter, has been the third sector with IEA, where she has claimed to be promoting multi-party democracy. What is more to the promotion of multi-party democracy than being EC chair and listening to multi-party dimensional views in having a peaceful election? But in all of what she says, I give you assurance. I give you assurance. How is that a confirmation of the demands or ticking the box of the demands that we are asking for? What are we? We have barely 60 days to go to polls. So what she's invariably saying is that, oh, this is provisional. So we should wait till November 30th. Then she's certified to say, okay, this is the actual sheet. Then we decide to say we are having a forensic audit on the 31st of November. How does that make any sense to a concerned mind that wants to have a peaceful election? But in any case, a peaceful election is a process. It's not an event. It starts with a register, which is why. But what is so absurd about having a forensic audit? Is it the word forensic that's a problem? If it is, we could drop it and ask for an audit. Because I don't understand why anytime we say forensic audit or audit, the MPP has become suddenly anathema to the word forensic or to the act of forensic audit. So tell us, Pilgrim, I don't really know what's happening within your camp, such that there is fear when it comes to issues of how long would it take to have a forensic audit? In any case, have there not been acknowledgement of the issues within IPAC that Dr. Omane-Boamah raised, that indeed these things happened to the extent that the IT system is subject to compromise? So where is the integrity of the system? So if we don't have or assured of the integrity of the system, how are we going to a peaceful election? How are we going to the free and credible election?
So the Electoral Commission didn't convince you with their presentation?
No, how are we convinced? Except assured. The EC chair keeps saying, we're assuring you.
And you are dwelling on
how is a word of assurance and keep saying that the time is not now when you just have barely 60 days to go to the polls. What, you want to go maybe 7 days to the polls, you then call for a forensic audit. To do what with it?
So you are holding her to that assurance?
Yeah, we are not. What we are saying that the assurance is weak in and of itself, based on her posturing.
I'm just making reference to the statement you issued.
Yes.
That you are holding her to that assurance.
Yeah, we are holding her to that, and we've enumerated a couple of issues that need to be done to trigger the process of peaceful election. But you see, there is an optics surrounding the whole EC machinery, right? And also the chair herself. And I think that it's about time we make the public see this and we engage with it critically. I mean, you pass by her residence and you see armed police officers with vehicles. Why? Are we going to war? What's she afraid of? So if you are doing the right thing, why are we having that optic within a democracy? Armored vehicles are packed with sandbags barricaded within the EC chair's official residence. Was that done for Afarijan? Was that done for Charlotte Osei? What's she afraid of? Who is coming after her? If you do the right thing, you would go to bed at night peacefully. Nobody needs to spend space resources to do what is being done now. And that is a waste of the taxpayers' money.
With the re-exhibition of the register that
apart from
demanded.
apart from that, let me land. Apart from that, you look at how colored the EC is. Ex-TESCOM patrons being deputy EC chairs, right? When that happens, it means the bar of accountability, the bar of integrity, the bar of transparency must be higher than we've ever had before. Because we've sent partisan people to the Independent Electoral Commission. Overt partisan people, not covert partisan people. And this has always been reflecting in the tone of their letters. Read the letters they wrote to the NDC and other stakeholders. But you see, this election, we are going into it with a diminished voice of the smaller parties. I don't know what their role and participation even in this election. Look at how they acted at IPAC.
Well,
and for the first time, the NPP has nothing to contribute to this debate and call. They are okay with the register to the extent that Peter McMahon, the big operational function of the NPP when it comes to their election machine, has become the spokesperson of the EC by saying that the issues have been addressed. Who briefed him that the issues were addressed?
Well,
who briefed him that the issues are addressed? They shouldn't think we are taking this election for granted.
Yeah. But you've continuously heard Dr. Bosman Asari say your issues that you brought to them have been addressed. Dr. Bosman Asari has said that.
In what light?
Subsequent interview.
No, in what light? Are there no discrepancies? The discrepancies have been acknowledged, right? Transfers that were meant to be done, that were not done properly, were acknowledged. They've acknowledged that the ICT system is compromised and subject to compromise. So if we are not assured of all of this, how do we go? But in any case, my point is, what is wrong with a forensic audit? When you even have international agencies, such as the UNDP, asking to support with this. If there's no seen credibility in our call, why are they supporting us to do it? And take this from me. My point is, I am very uncomfortable, and the NDC for that matter, that Peter McMahon, the big operational function, the party machine for their election operation, has suddenly, we all heard him on national TV, saying that the issues have been addressed. Who briefed him that the issues have been addressed? Okay. Since when has he become the spokesperson to the EC or the NDC? We have sent our issues. Let us deliberate and say they've been addressed. You stand before the nation at IPAC. So brave. Under the rule of your government to say the issues have been addressed. Have you tabled any issue? Have you petitioned the EC?
You also asked for access to the IT protocols.
Yes.
To know who has access in and out of the IT system.
Yes. So we can have an audit trail of who goes in and who comes out.
I see. Dr. Bachidakwa, so your party was there as well. And then beyond that, you had other political parties going through the election there as well. The EC did a presentation. Clearly hearing from the NDC this morning, the issues have not been addressed. They still have questions for the Electoral Commission, but they are dwelling and holding the EC chair to her assurance of a free and fair election. What did the NPP take out of this IPAC meeting?
You know, Alfred, 63 days to the 7th of December, 2024. It's a very important election for the New Patriotic Party and a very important election for the Ghanaian people.
to make a concise decision about who leads us in this country. Campaign season is ongoing. I look at the position of NDC, and much as I'm concerned, I'm also a bit troubled, because it appears that they are asking too much.
They are asking for too much?
Yes, it appears that they're asking for too much.
How do you mean?
Alfred, the CI-91 is a mechanism that has been put in place to help regulate issues as it relates to voter discrepancies in terms of the voters register. And you are aware that this is a provisional voters register. The final voters register is not out yet. And the mechanism that is in place helps to be able to address these issues, which is why I'm making a statement that the NDC is asking for too much. And beyond asking for too much, they're asking for things that I think is not within the mandate of a political party to ask. But it's up to them to do.
Which one of those is that? Which of the demands is not within the mandate?
How would you ask for the IT protocols? How would a political party ask the Electoral Commission to give IT protocols to them, to be able to know who goes in and who goes out, to be able to trail? There are independent organizations in this country, and everyone needs to be able to repose trust and confidence and integrity in an electoral commission that administers peaceful elections. From 1992, we've had elections in this country that has been peaceful. We've had change of power and transitions of government with no issue at all. But I'm concerned with the positioning of the NDC and the consistency of the requests that they are making within the period of time that we have to be able to allow for campaigning and allow the Ghanaian people to make a decision on who. We know that elections are won at a polling station. Everyone is preparing well to train their polling station agents. Our political party is training polling station agents. I hope the NDC is training polling station agents. Because if they don't, and we win the election, we would have evidence from the polling station to prove that we have won the election based on the mandate of the Ghanaian people. So I'm concerned. I'm troubled, because I can't tell the head and tail of the drive that the NDC has and the fixation that they have in this regard with the Electoral Commission, with the draft of the voters register, and the final one that is not even out. Alfred, let's save ourselves.
There was a general mantra that elections are won and lost at the polling station, but upon further engagement, I got to know that it's not always the case. There are other things that can actually cause an election to be won or lost. You can be very vigilant at the polling station, but if you are not also vigilant with respect to the integrity of the system, you will lose the election. You know that, don't you?
Alfred, the assumption, there's an assumption, okay? The assumption that the Ghanaian people would vote for NDC and the assumption that the Ghanaian people would vote for the NPP. The real truth is that the Ghanaian people's mandate would be registered on the day that they go to vote. I don't see where anyone has an upper hand in either conceptualizing a thought of changing results to favor a political party. I don't see that.
Hey.
No, I don't see. I don't see that.
Hey.
For me,
election
I know.
Petition 2012. That's why you went to court.
Yes.
Talking about allegations against the EC, etc.
No, you see, I know very well that it is important that the NDC reposes trust and confidence and integrity in the Electoral Commission. Because whatever we do, in the next 63 days, the people that would administer the 2024 general election is the Electoral Commission. From the 7th of December to the 9th of December, between that period, the returning officer that would declare the president-elect for the next tenure of 4 years would be the Electoral Commission. So we must repose trust and integrity in the Electoral Commission. And so I don't want the NDC to be painting a picture that might not necessarily exist, because the CI 91 is a mechanism that has been put in place to be able to correct and rectify all these issues, and that is why there's IPAC. And I'm glad that the recent IPAC was made public for the Ghanaian people to see. For me, we in the New Patriotic Party have confidence and trust in the processes of the Electoral Commission. We have confidence and trust in the voters register. There's an addition of about 1 million plus people from the 2020 voters register. We have confidence and trust that the mandate of the Ghanaian people will not be denied them on the 7th of December. And we have confidence and trust that no one, either thinking or wanting to, would turn over this election results to any of the candidates. That is not what is represented by the mandate of the Ghanaian people when they exercise their franchise on the 7th of December.
So live here on Key Point, and I'll bring in Professor Ransford Jampo in a bit. But let me just remind you that this morning I am clothed by Kogra Clothing. Kogra Clothing, the best version of you. Locate them on the Spintex Road, 18 Junction, opposite the Allied Oil Filling Station, ground floor, same building with the Ghana Made store. Contact them on 0244 238 341, 0244 238 341. Choose Cobra Clothing. Choose right. Also, Jampo.
So these Cobra Clothing people, are you the only person that they will give dresses to? Can they clothe all of us too?
No,
they give it to you alone.
Don't worry, I will arrange for one for you. Yes.
Alfred, thank you. The NDC had legitimate concerns which they raised before IPAC. And I must say that I like, for the first time, the tone that the Electoral Commission chair used in addressing them. Oftentimes, I've been very worried about the way and manner some of the officials of the Electoral Commission have responded to the political parties. You have a whole deputy chair saying that the NDC, maybe it is the first time they are paying attention to voters' register, and that in the register that was used to conduct the 2016 elections, it had trees and animals, you know, in it. I mean, I thought this was a clear misspeaking on the part of Mr. Samuel Titi. He spoke out of character. That's not who he is. So I said, but who wrote this thing for him? And why didn't he see whether what he was reading was in sync with his own character? You don't talk to political parties like this and then seek to dialogue with them at the same time. It was very bad, a bad thing that he did. And so I like the fact that this time the tone was good. And generally, if you look at the responses or the response that the NDC issued following the meeting, I realized that some way, somehow, we are all making, you know, a headway. I like the analogy that Omanebuama used. If your house is leaking, you can choose to go up there to seal the leakage, or you can keep mopping. And he described what the kinds of interventions that the Electoral Commission has resorted to as amounting to mopping the floor. Right. And so if you are mopping the floor, then it means that it may rain and still you have to keep mopping. So my view is that let us together work with the Electoral Commission, let the IT units of the parties and the Electoral Commission work together to ensure that if it rains tomorrow, if it rains November, if it rains a day to election 2024, we do not have the floor being spilled with water again to necessitate another mop. So what I'm saying is that Mama Nebuama raised the issue that so you are doing all these things and you are saying these are measures to clean the voters register. But what will happen if we all go to sleep and then in November, at the last minute, if an unscrupulous person enters into the system and decides to undermine the integrity of the voters register again, what happens? So I'm making a recommendation that, yes, the NDC has been very vigilant. They should keep on with their vigilance and they should work together with the Electoral Commission to ensure that nobody goes behind the scenes to undermine the integrity of the register again at last minute. Lastly, I want to make the point and appeal to all of us. Now, let us talk or speak like Ghanaians. You see, the NDC saw so many things wrong with the voters register. The MPP saw nothing wrong with the voters register. Okay, power will change hands tomorrow, and then you will see that those who are seeing nothing wrong with the voters register also would begin to see a lot of things wrong with it. Why can't we come together to have a frank, bipartisan, honest, candid discussion about the voters' role and our electoral processes with the view to fine-tuning it such that regardless of where you are, whether you are in government or you are in opposition, things will be said that you wouldn't be unnecessarily paranoid. Okay, that is what we have to do. Last is to talk about the comportment and the role of the smaller political parties at such forum. I think some acquitted and conducted themselves well. For some too, they only legitimized their irrelevance. I do not see why we should have some of the people there as leaders of political party. I don't see why they should be there, because clearly some of them were irrelevant. And over the years, we're thinking that as we grow our multi-party democracy, they would also be growing. But it appears that some of them were there to do the bidding of some other political parties. And it does not help our quest to strengthen our multi-party system to ensure that it moves beyond a current duopoly. It is not good. And so I'm saying that even though some of them did well, others only went to institutionalize their irrelevance in our electoral political process.
And Lawyer Martin, people give a final word on this. Isn't it concerning that if we have a Political Parties Act in this country that demands that the Electoral Commission should ensure that political parties who contest elections in this country have offices in all districts, correct? But the only way of disqualifying these political parties is through the registration process. How many of those who have qualified to contest this election have fulfilled that requirement of having offices in all the districts or in the regions in this country? Absolutely.
You have a fantastic point on it. So you see that what's happening is that somebody said the EC is involved in selective criteria, all right, discrimination. They are basically discriminating against some people, all right? Some of those who have been disqualified feel they've been victimized because they were supporting the call for the forensic audit, all right? You see the PPP. The PPP has been staunchly behind NDC, asking for the forensic audit, and they got kicked out, right? There are other persons, okay, that the EC feels...
This sheer coincidence, or you think that you were...
Oh, is there a theory? Yeah, is there a theory? Yes. And some people feel they were left out because they felt...
What do you say of Bernard Mona?
You see, yes, Mona also, they would support. You know, people who want to move this country forward would definitely vote for the forensic audit. Look, listen, Madam G. Mensah, what will it cost to have that forensic audit done? I hear UNDP is ready to what? Help. Let's do it. It only brings up your credibility. Let's do it. I know you say you do an online or well, they say it's not exactly online. What they mean is you do it through the code. USSD, right? Yes, but look, Madam Jim Mensah, you know, if you agree to do this forensic audit, I would listen, let go all my grudges against you, that you are not competent, you are not fit for that office. If you do it, no, because that is leadership. If you exercise that discretion and come to a conclusion that the forensic audit will go on, from that day on, everything I've said, I will take back.
Okay.
I will take back.
Right.
Yes, I will take back if you honor this forensic audit.
Thank you. Lawyer Martin Kwebo is private legal practitioner.
Leave my boss alone.
Professor Raspo Jampo. Thank you. Thank you very much. He is Professor of Political Science at the University of Ghana. Also to you, Dr. Pagre Boachi Dankwa is a lecturer, is the government spokesperson on governance and security. Also, Dr. Khalid, I appreciate you coming. Thank you so much. And also, Lawyer Martin Kwebo, I do thank you so much.
For God and country.
And
thank you. Thanks for having us.
Well. And you, our viewers, as well. The many of you messages, so 3,625 of your messages. I thank you so much, and I read as many as I could. And I was clothed this morning by Kogra Clothing. Please call them on 0244-238-341. 0244-238-341. That's Kogra Clothing, the best version of you. My name is Alfred Okanse. Do have a great weekend.